what if I proposed a trade? What if I said, I give you all of my arundum, my headhunting certificates, everything I have, and in return, you give me Wis'Adel, Mulesies, Texas the Omertosa, the operators that I need. You give them to me, and I give you my arundum and my certificates. Isn't that what headhunting's all about? Does that sound fair to you? Well then, let's make the deal. Alright guys, with that said, the Our Kind banner has officially launched. And it's time for Doctor to jump in and do the pulls for our friend Johnny G. Let's go ahead and jump into the headhunting, and we're going to make that trade. As we know, there is a free roll. I also collected the 10 roll cert, and I have about 2 10 rolls worth, and I believe I have another 10 roll certificate and some more. So we've got 40 to 50-ish pulls. Let's see what we can do right off the bat. Then maybe in the future we'll spend a little bit of his money. Let's get our free roll first, shall we? Doctor says, give me something good, and it's a 4-star.
Boss, you know a
Bee Hunter. Bee Hunter, I already have you.
Now, put your hands together for...
We don't want you. Go away. All right, let's use the Dawn Enkindler's headhunting permit. 10 roll, fingers crossed. 5 stars. All right. How many? 1. Utage. I adore you. You are wonderful. Shisho. Next up.
My codename
Beagle.
is
Beagle.
I know I didn't do very well on my assessment, but I'll still do my best.
You did well on your assessment. You're good enough. 4. Click. 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 You're responsible for setting up my streaming and recording services here. Here we go. Another 4.
Frostleaf.
Frostleaf. Oh, I want to play with those ears.
I'm your operator.
Ooh, Doctor wants to play with those ears and that tail.
I can do pretty.
Hello.
Doctor.
Hummus. Nope. Go away. Put a shirt on and go away.
Thank you.
Put a shirt on. Close that. I don't want to see that chest. Go away. Go away. Be a different story if you were a lady. Bee Hunter again. I told you to go away. I already have you. No.
Put your
But
hands
you know, your ears are kind of cute. Cardigan. I want to play with your ears too. I do. Here we go. 5-star.
Rhodes Island
Fang
operator
the Fire Sharpened. Welcome. Fang's alternate form.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's right.
You are wonderfully beautiful, my lady, and you are definitely an improvement over your original.
Reserve
Catapult.
A6 catapult.
No, catapult.
Hey.
We already have you.
Tell hella
Love and peace and all
difference
that,
on
you
stuffy
know.
old bit.
Just like your shirt says, but you know, off screen. Come on, Jessica. I'm restraining myself. Doctor, behave. There are others that we want, and we want to interact with first. Okay? All right. Here we go. Another 10. Come now. 6-star, please. Oh, more 5. There's one more 5, and it's the very last one.
Show me your
midnight.
Smile, my esteemed
You
customer.
can keep your shirt open because there's
Happiness
something about you
is
that
at
I
arm's
adore.
reach.
I do like your hair.
Hi.
Cruz.
I'm Cruz.
I want to play with your bono ears.
I might
I
be
want to play with your bono ears, please.
I need a job.
Verdant.
And being a pharmaceutical
well,
company, surely Rhodes Island
I
won't
can
turn
give you
down
a
an
job.
experienced plant hunter.
But it ain't gonna be what you
And the
like.
plant
You know,
hunter
you
in
can clean the
question
toilets for
is
me.
none other.
Hi,
Spot.
I'm Spot from Operation Reserve Team A6.
I got a job for you too, Spot.
My job
How about
is
you
to
make the place
protect the other
spotless? Bad puns from Doctor. Myrtle! I'm gonna hide you. You're gonna stay with me in my office at all times and keep your cuteness up to keep my morale up. How's that sound? Sanity's gotta stay up, please.
I am Ansel, a medical intern. I'll
Ansel.
be assisting with surgery
You
and
go hang out with
internal
Calcit in the
medicine.
med bay. Please and thank you. Let's go again. I want to play with that tail. Popcar, please don't cut me with that chainsaw. But your little hair clips and all that are really, really, really cute. And your little Bono charm on your chainsaw. Just don't get that caught in the blade, please.
Reserve.
Last time you did that,
catapult
repair costs a
reporting
lot on that weapon.
Hey, I can tell you're
Catapult.
hella different from that stuffy old
Catapult.
bit. I mean,
Catapult. Off the screen, please. Whispering. I've already had you, but you don't talk much. You don't talk much, but I'd like to see what's beneath that eye patch. Alright. Onward and upward. Next up, we have 3 certificates here, 3 singles. That's Cardigan again. Oh, Cardi, you're so pretty. I adore your eyes. Next up, whoa. Next up. Yep. Cutter. Cutter. You know what? You can trade your abilities. Just behave yourself. Please don't cut me, Cutter. And Pinecone. Why do they call you Pinecone, Pinecone? Are you a burb? You look like a burb. Alright. Let's go ahead and do another 10 here. 6-star, please, 6-star. It's another 5. 2 5s, okay. Alright. Jay. Hoshiguma said you'd be okay working here. Alright, well, I'll take Hoshiguma's word. She's very kind to me. She likes to cuddle, did you know that? Fun fact.
yes, just
Deep
a
color.
painter.
Well, how about you paint me? Paint me. That'll be your job. You paint a nice picture of Doctor
はじめましてドクター私は
Beanstalk.
ビーンストーク
Oh, you and your cute little crabs. Pea-cake. Hi, Pea-cake. You're adorable, Pea-cake. Here we go, 5-star.
Pleased to meet you.
Harmony.
My code name is Harmony.
I don't know
Here's a
about
dossier on
you,
Victoria for
You're
Rhodes Island's
cute.
perusal.
but you're a little
Suggestion of
suspicious.
goodwill.
Hmm.
Don't and about
Well, let's just stay
now.
here for now. For now. I'll think about it.
Captain of Reserve Op Team A6.
Orchid,
Orchid,
milady.
reporting in.
Your
Are you the
elegance.
doctor?
Could I ask you to tailor me a new jacket, a new, overcoat here? Would be nice to get a change.
Rhodes Island
Fang
operator Fang reporting
again.
in.
We can increase your
I look
potential
different
now.
from before.
Thank you.
I need a job.
Burden, I
Being a
told you, you can go
pharmaceutical
clean the
company,
toilets for me.
surely
That's
Rhodes
the job
Island
that I
won't turn
gave
down an
you.
experienced plant hunter. And the plant
Come
hunter
on.
in question is
The
none
interview's
other
over.
than...
Interview's over. Next one.
Ally, I salute you
Matterhorn.
in true Snow Realm fashion.
How
Code name is
about
Matterhorn, and I am one of the guards dispatched here by
your
Master
job can be you can
Silverash.
carry me around on your back the whole time. I will ride on your back, and we'll go marching around and giving orders. Chestnut. Ooh, specimen box made from gemstones you collected. Well, that's pretty. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, but you didn't have to.
Reporting in.
Myrtle again. I told you, go back to my office. Go hide in my office.
Here, so
Come on. Thank you. Okay. 10 more. Darn. Rope, cardigan, cutter, embryo, savage, scavenger, gravel, perfumer, spot, catapult, Matoi-Maru. Why are none of you what I want? Another 4.
Pleasure to meet you, Chief.
Shaw.
I am Shaw of the Lugman Fire Department.
Shaw,
for
you are
20
so
duty.
cute. You are my adorable favorite squirrel, but you just stop. Give me what I want. Give me a 6. Where's my
This
6
is
stars?
intern Hibiscus.
Where's my luck?
From now on, I'll be in charge
Hibiscus?
of managing yours and
Go
every
away.
operator's
You can
health.
heal other people. Nothing you can do can heal my heart right now.
I'm Scavenger.
Scavenger.
Leave the dirty work to me.
Scavenger.
Just pay me like
Go
my
eat
other
the cheese.
employers.
Just go eat the cheese. I'm done with you. Can we spend some of your money? Can we, please? I'm not gonna wait for an answer. Let's spend some money and get some more recruitment funds. Alrighty, my fellow people. we've stolen the man's wallet, and we've made a purchase. So now, we make more headhuntings. No, it is the following day. I had to do a little bit of work and work throughout the day to get this done, but we made it happen. And he still has no clue. So let's get our free daily roll in. I did collect a little bit of a random from our getting an ore. We struck an ore with the mining today. We'll get our free headhunt in. And it's a 4. Matoi Maru. We'll use our random and then... Actually, let's just start doing 10 rolls. Why not? We struck a 6. No, wait. That was 3 5-stars, I believe. And a 6. Am I wrong? Did we strike gold? Yes. Polyphons. Okay, nice bow, lady. Nice hair, too. I love that color. Nice fiery red.
Rhodes Island operator
Another
Fang reporting
fang.
in. I look different from before.
Let's go. I have this fascination with poking the tips of the spikes on her shield. I don't know why. It's just fun. Onward. Another 5. Elysium! We did not have you yet, so welcome. Whatever this thing is that you carry, that's, you know, is what it is.
Hi.
Ray!
My name is Gray.
With your little puppy ears and your
kind of an
goggles.
electrician.
You should go with the Paw Patrol sometime. Trickstar.
Let's
Let's go!
I signed my name here, right? Her Highness says this name means
Welcome.
wishing for a home.
Rhodes
I don't
Island.
make wishes, though. Huh? My handwriting sucks? Screw
Does.
you. Who are you to judge?
I can judge because, you know, I've written for well over 10,000 years. You know, what have you done? That's what I thought. Keep that snarky attitude to yourself, or you will not be allowed in my dorm room later. I mean, I didn't say that. Calcit, you heard nothing. Anyways, onward.
Hi, I'm
But
Spot.
you know what? I'm done. We got that. We're gonna continue making pulls. Let's go. Next up, let's do another. And we got some more 5s. How many more 5s we got? 1. So we'll just skip. Who do we get? We got Warmy. Okie dokie. Another. We got more 5s. How many more 5s? We continue to get 5s. There's 2 more in here. Let's see. We've got another Harmony and another Fang the Fire Sharpened. I still don't trust Harmony. Something about her. Not trustworthy, guys. Not at all. More 5s. We gotta see some 6s here. Another Fang the Fire Sharpened. Lutanada again. Hello. It's the ladies here that I like. Oh. Another Fang. Okay, we've got to have her at max potential now. Before we continue on, let's go back here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Max potential Fang the Fire Sharpened. Oh, she's gonna be so happy. She's gonna be so strong. I love it. Let's increase our potential for some of these others. Harmony. That puts you up to 4. I still don't know about you. Warmy, you're up to 4 as well. I do trust you. You're so adorable. All right. But this guy, But this lady, let's give you a little bit
You
of
don't have to prove anything to me with your videos.
Hey,
We'll see how you take advantage of people's lives.
hey. Do you even know how to
Listen
watch?
closely.
Do you even know how to watch a video? I don't want to hear it. Teresa should have taught you that. Homie. She's mean to me. Anyways, onward. Another 6. Give me another limited, please. Ooh, it's right off the bat.
Hello.
Hey,
there.
we already have
must be the
you. Go away. I already have you, Lee. What is your problem? Look at who's available here. Look at who's available. I want these two. I got her. I want these two. I would like him, but come on. Lee, you suck. Fang. Oh, hey, Shaw. I love you, Squirrely. Iris. Really? Really, Iris? 5. More Fang. More 6s, please. I'd like another 6. Doctor's starting to go crazy here now. Fang the Fire Sharpened and Iris. I'm happy with one pull. I'm happy with one, but I'm starting to go a little nuts. There's another 6. Okay, come on. Ooh, 1 way at the end. That's a drop. Hey, she's in the middle of teaching me how to skateboard. She's really good at it. I fell on my ass 3 times. In the span of 1 minute, too. Cicero! I want to play with the mirrors. I want to play with the mirrors. I want to play with the mirrors.
Hi! I'm Cruz. I might be...
Is it bad of me to say I want to take a nap with her?
My name is Beagle.
Beagle!
I know I didn't do very well on my assessment.
You did
but I'll
perfectly
still do my
fine. I'm
best
tired
at
of telling you that.
Hi, I'm Spot from Operation Reserve Team A6. My
I'm gonna
job
boop him.
is to protect the other troublemakers on my team, I guess.
No swoop.
Hello!
Party.
I've never been in such a big mobile facility before.
You have many times now, because of the amount of times we've headhunted you.
I'm just a girl who cleans up war zones. If you need me for anything, please call me by the name.
Halloween's over. You don't need to sound like a zombie. It's okay. Aren.
Show me your brightest
Midnight.
Ooh. Happiness
Midnight.
is at arm's
Show me that body, man.
by my
Come on.
side.
Open the shirt. Show me the body. Here we go. Here we go.
Rhodes Island,
Oh,
elite operator
alright.
Logos, reporting in. I think this procedure calls for some formality.
So
Cumbersome
here's
as
the
it may
thing.
be. But Doctor, you're not thinking of leaving early again, are you?
I'm not. However, I have to ask you: Did you learn the wand work from Hogwarts? And if so, can you go back there and find out where my letter is? Why I didn't get a letter to Hogwarts? Please, thank you. You know, do a favor for old Doctor. Come on, we're friends, we're buddies, we're pals, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Anyways, shall we do one more? No 6s this time. Ooh, all right. Let's go and see what I have for certificates, because that puts me pretty far up here. Let's take care of Iris's potential. Nobody else with potential except, well, Lee does. And get him a level 2. And now we have Logos. And let's see here. Store. Certificate. A certificate refresh. And this puts us pretty high here. So let's go ahead and get some more stuff here. We got some more certs. We can go ahead and do some more. There's another 10. And it's more 5s. What did we get? Another Fang the Fire Sharpened. And we got 10. We got 12 more right here. And that's another 5. And it's another Fang the Fire Sharpened. Bang. We maxed potential, you sweetheart. You've got to realize we're done. You don't need to be in the headhunting pool anymore.
Hi, I'm Spot from Operation Reserve Team A6.
The same with you.
My job is to...
Buddy, you can step aside for the important ones. The 6 stars, the ones I don't have. Texas and Mulesies, okay? Come on. Think of me. Think of old Doc here, okay? Okay. Alright. Well, we certainly did it. We managed to pull that absolute brat of a woman. But she's here. Doctor will teach her how to do things right at Rhodes Island. I hope you will put your faith in me to train her proper way, so that she can destroy everybody for us. I guess I should give him back the reins, considering I stole his wallet. But maybe we'll come back for some more polls at another time. Bye-bye.
All right. Let's see what Doctor managed to pull for. No way! Doctor got Wis'Adel! All right. So that's helpful. Okay. And he got Logos. Let's see, did he get any 5 stars? Did he get the new Read the Flame, or not Read the Flame Shadow, Fang the Fire Sharpened? Did he get the new 5-star? Let's see, we're in 5. Oh, no, oh, there she is. She looks so similar to Cantabile. I love it. Ah, max potential? I didn't have that. He might have got really lucky. Wait, no way, he didn't do what I think he did. He stole my wallet, didn't he? Doctor! He's long gone. I'm gonna have to get him for this. Calcid owes me a lot of LMD to make up. Anyways, what's up, everybody? It's me, Johnny G. Welcome back to the channel and to some more Arknights recordings. Excuse me. Basically, well, we are now in a midst of a mini event, and that is why Doctor was doing pulls for us again. His good luck in the past has been wonderful, and I've liked the fact that he has pulled me some good things. However, we are now in the midst of a mini event, which is basically the introduction of chapter 14. Now, at first I didn't think I was going to be able to play this because of the fact that I'm not this far in the story yet, but they had a early requirement here for while this miniature event is going on. As long as you cleared 1-10 like you would for any other event, you would be able to jump right to this portion of the story. So I want to get that recorded and try it out a little bit. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this point of the story. I don't know exactly everything that's going on. I know the gist that Babel kind of leads into this, in the factor that over the past couple chapters we've had a lot of tension build up in Victoria and in Londinium, and an invasion basically by the Sarkaz forces in Londinium with Theresis, and they're after something. I know Teresa's been resurrected in some way, shape, or form. I don't know everything prior to that. However, I'm still going to play this, get it out for you guys now, and then I will go back and continue my story playthrough, my main theme playthrough in the future. We've got some other reruns and stuff like that coming in the future that I will get into and I will be able to do, but at those times I'll also be able to catch up on the story for you guys. So I hope you stick around and enjoy that as we go with more in the future with the main theme. But for now, I do know that we, as we can see, we have one free roll here. I haven't been able to quite keep up and get started on this as early as I wanted to, just because of some other things going on, but we're gonna jump in. We'll get our free roll here. I have a couple of 10 roll certificates that I picked up from buying some things myself out of the shop, and we're gonna go ahead and use those, as well as I have a 6-star selector that I bought. We're gonna use that. Then we will jump in to begin chapter 14. Absolved will be the Seekers. So let's go ahead and get our headhunting done. First and foremost, where's my pointer? There we go. Headhunt, get our free. And our free's a 4 for the day. We got Shirayuki. I like her. We're getting close to the 300 here. We're at 184. So 116 rolls to claim one of her, basically. But I'm gonna have trouble here unless I pull somebody really good that I want over the next so many pulls. We got Proviso, okay. Unless we get one of the two that I'm mainly out for, I'm gonna have a little trouble trying to decide who I want later. Oh, we have a 6. We have a 6. Second one in.
Hi,
Gray.
My name is Gray.
Texas the Omertosa or Mulesies, please.
Ascalon should have showed
Oh,
you
it's
my
Inez!
files.
Okay.
Messenger
I
or
will take her because I didn't have her yet.
Doesn't matter.
I don't quite know how to
All
use
you
her,
need to know.
but I appreciate having her now. It's part of the collection here. Wonderful. I have some OP and some Arundum and stuff here. We'll go ahead and do some more. We've got another Fang the Fire sharpened. Okay. Keep going here because then we'll round everything out at the end and see. Now we're at 224. We got 76 to go. I don't have enough OP that I'll hit that I know of, but we'll still get as much as we can gathered. Oh, wow! Grain Buds, Cement, and Fang the Fire Sharpened all in one. It's pretty cool. I didn't have Cement yet, so that was new. Okay. More Fang the Fire Sharpened. Hey, we're already max potentialed out on her, so I'm good, but there's another 6. Give me a limited, please. That's towards the end. 3.
I am Ansel,
3 away from the end.
intern. I'll be assisting with surgery and internal medicine.
We got Ansel.
I'm
Melantha.
Ally,
Matterhorn.
I salute you in true Snow Realm fashion. My code name is Matterhorn, and I'm one.
I'm just a girl who
Lutanata.
cleans up Warsons. If you need
Okay.
me for anything.
Rhodes
Fang.
Island Operator Fang reporting
Awesome.
in. I look different from before.
I might be able to use the certificates to get another 10 pull at the end. I think I was close to 120 to get another.
Hello! I've never been in such a big mobile facility before.
Next one, I believe, is
I'm
it.
so excited. Sarcasm.
Oh my God, so now I have W and Wis'Adel. That's great. I got her on my other account earlier, which was pretty cool. So that's interesting. All right. So that narrows down who, you know, a little bit off the list yet. Okay. Next. Got a little bit more yet. More 5s. Whispering. Okay. Okay, nothing there. Nothing there. Okay, what are we at? That puts us to 294. We got another 10, so let's hit it. Okay. All right, so 304, so that gets us the second one of her. So we'll have potential 2 on Wis'Adel.
I signed my name
Nice.
here, right?
I actually watched the Daggers Inheritors earlier on YouTube. I thought that was pretty cool. That was neat to see. All right, so now we have a little bit of a conundrum. So first of all, distinguished. Oh yeah. Yeah. I can get 20 more, so let's go get those. There's another 6. 1. If it's Texas or Mulesies, I will be happy because then I won't have as hard of a choice. Please. Please.
Rhodes Island.
Logos
Elite
again.
operator
Ah.
Logos.
All right. Hey, whatever. That's cool. I will take more potential for him too. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Fang the Fire Sharpened. All right.
I am Shirayuki, princess from.
We'll use up the last of our Arundum.
Popcar from Operation Reserve Team A6.
If we get more OP, we may make more pulls, but
I'm sorry, my.
this is where we have a slight problem now. Okay. Now the nice thing is, I do have a little bit of build-up done already, thanks to Doctor. I have Logos and Wis'Adel ready, actually, to promote. I just need these last couple items, and I can make the White Horse Coal in the workshop, but I need 1 nucleic crystal center. So I might mess around on my own free time in one of the, like, IS modes, because I know there are rewards in there. I'm not, like, you have to get to chapter 11 in the main theme if you want to unlock the recipe for them. And then for her, same with this, you have to get to 5-9, which I'm going to record some main theme stuff on the side here. I think it's S5-9 to get the recipe for this. Yeah, S5-9 Abnormality 1 with at least 2 stars to unlock that. So I'll mess with that a little bit on some, well, not some free time, but on another recording and see if I can't get that so that I can E2 both of them and have their 3rd skills, which will be great. Now, in the meantime, one other thing here. I have this. Now, there's a lot of characters, a lot of operators that I don't have yet that would be really, really cool. But the main reason that I bought this is because I want this lady here.
Doctor, my appearance here indicates
finally,
that the situation
I have Calcit on this account too.
You must concentrate on continuing.
And I got her because I wanted to, what does this do? What does this do? Oh, no, no, no. We're not doing that. Not yet, at least. Elite 2, level 5 operator to the max. I mainly got that because I wanted to get Calcit, and I want to be able to use Monster. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to try over the next couple of days to get her maxed out if possible.
Not bad.
Because of the sake of the fact that she came in handy for me to do the boss on my other account on this. So, solid defense is locked. When does that open up? So, if I can get her maxed out and ready to go and, you know, have Monster ready to go, I will try to get them as far as possible because, again, that was a very, very big help in the final boss for this chapter. All right, let's go ahead and jump in now. Chapter 14, and again, I'm gonna do my best at this, but I'm not familiar. Now it says you're about to enter. We recommend you read previous chapters first for a more cohesive narrative experience, but it's all right. We're gonna jump in with what we know and continue forward. And I have, again, a basic gist of some of the things, but I haven't played it all up to this point. Not every meeting has a beautiful ending, Amiya. A lot of stories end suddenly. A lot of stories keep us tossing and turning in our beds, and some stories end with a long, long sigh. In a wilderness without end, people meet and go their separate ways. But at the crucial moment when we cross paths, no one knows if we should really be saying such solemn goodbyes. We'll flashback with Teresa. Come in. Oh, little Amiya. Teresa, you're back. Amiya? What's the matter? Look what time it is. You should be in bed if you don't want Calcit getting angry with you. I know, but I can't sleep. Want me to sleep with you? It's okay. If you still have work to do, You've been waiting for me all day, haven't you? Did something happen? Nope. Everyone's been nice to me, and keeping up with my homework, too. I finished all the assignments Dr. Calcit gave me, but I know you've been really busy, and I shouldn't bother you, but I don't know why. I really wanted to see you today. Is that right? Come, Amiya. I'm here. Teresa kneels down and hugs Amiya. I'm here for you now. All right. I saw you standing here waiting by yourself while everybody else was gone for so long. I still remember the look on your face. I don't get it. Are you worried about something? Isn't everyone we're saying Isn't everyone saying we're about to win? Yes, there's always good news. Our fighters captured another town. We advanced our position once more. Kasdo is our home. Kasdo, our home, is closer than ever. But... Amiya, Babel still has a very long journey ahead of us. Our goal is so far away. I don't actually even know if we're still sailing toward our original destination. Teresa lets out a brief sigh and looks into the distance. Amiya follows Teresa's gaze, but finds nothing. Babel does not exist to win victories. It never has. Victories and scars go hand in hand, and those scars are far more difficult than we ever anticipated to heal. Or rather, can they even be healed? Teresa's voice is very soft, almost like a dream melted away in water. As a cloud of mist rises, the brief momentary smile that she had before now seems distant and hazy. The young Goddess girl thinks that for a moment or two, the woman holding her hand all this time almost seemed to have disappeared into the mist herself. And so Amiya makes the effort to stand on her tiptoes and stretches her hand out. The young girl's soft fingertips touch the forehead between the eyes of the King of Sarkaz. She tries to smooth those knitted brows. They can. They will. Teresa, I still remember what you told me. Perhaps one day, we'll be able to let everyone on this vast land fall into peaceful slumber. Right. That includes you and me. Go, Amiya. We have lots of time to talk about the future, but if you stay up all night, you won't be getting any taller. What are you going to do if you're still a teeny tiny bean by the time Rhodes Island is proudly sailing across the vast lands? Uh-oh. I don't want to be a bean! If I put my ears up, I'll look taller, won't I? You really don't want to go back to your room, don't you? I'm not being naughty, I'm just... Alright, let's not tell Calcit then. You can stay a little longer. It's been a while since I told you a story, hasn't it? It's okay, I still remember all the stories you told me. A long time ago, there was a great big desert and a tiny little doll made of sackcloth. The little puppet swore he would cross the desert to find the legendary Plains of Hope. But you've never told me how the story ends. Oh, that one, huh? There were a lot of scary things out there in the desert. If I were to tell you, you'd never sleep again. I'm not scared of them. Besides, with you telling the story, I'm sure it'll have a nice ending. All right. The desert. It was so vast and wide, like there was no end to it. Our little puppet had been through many great adventures, and at last he made it. His goal was right in front of him. The Plains of Hope. What were the plains like? The kind of place that anyone would like to call home. The kind of place with all the carrot pies I could eat. With everybody on the landship here too? Maybe. But things are never that easy in the stories. He still had to overcome the last obstacle that stood in his way. The desert was very cold, and the wind there never stopped. In the light of the twin moons, there seemed to be some black-cloaked shadows whispering to themselves, but the moment he looked for them, they disappeared. What were the black-cloaked shadows? They were the echoes of the oldest despair and sadness. If they catch you, you'll never escape them. The shadows whispered among themselves and laid trap after trap to stop the puppet. Black-cloaked shadows didn't want to let the puppet make it any further. They did everything they could to try to get him to turn around. Because if the puppet made it through the desert, hope would start to spread their way, and they would disappear. But the puppet didn't know that. His goal never once changed. The puppet made it past their traps and foiled their plans. All the tricks they had up their sleeves had failed. They were furious, and they decided they weren't going to hide anymore. They were going to duke it out with the puppet and fight him to the death. When he saw the shadows rushing toward him, the puppet took out a long spear made of a needle and some threads. Then he... Teresa, why did they become the echoes of despair and sadness? Well, about that. Did they catch oropathy, and the pain kept them up at night? Then maybe the puppet could cure them, just like what you and Dr. Calcit want to do. Cure them? If the puppet cured them and turned them into, happy and peaceful shadows, then everybody could go to the Plains of Hope together, right? Were they born baddies who like to scare people? No, dear, of course not. The puppet found out that they all had wounds on their bodies. It was the wounds that turned them into who they were. Couldn't he fix them up with his needle and thread? Just like what you always do? Maybe. Perhaps it's worth a try. Sleepy. No, I'm not. Did he do it? The puppet tried over and over. The stitches were thick and ugly. The black cloaked shadows were livid. What happened next? Maybe peace and happiness don't really come so easily. But in the end, they decided to let the puppet go. The black cloaked shadows watched the puppet walk into the distance. They decided they'd let the puppet give it a shot. But a big river stood before him. He didn't even know how wide it was. All he knew was that he couldn't see the other side of the river. He knew that the Plains of Hope were on the other side, but there weren't any boats nearby. There wasn't even a decently sized frond. What do I do now? The puppet thought to himself. And he decided to see if he could swim across. But he's a cloth puppet. Right, he was made of cloth. If he got wet, he would only get heavier and heavier until he sank to the bottom of the river. But if he stopped here, his journey would have been for nothing. He leapt into the water and found that the river was cold and salty like tears. Apparently, a lot of people across the lands wanted to go to these plains, but not one of them succeeded. It was their tears that formed this river. The puppet finally understood just how many people shed tears over this. Zzz. The puppet swam and swam. He felt his body slowly soaking up the tears. Did the other side of the river really exist? Perhaps the shadows were right. It was called the Plains of Hope because no one could truly make it there. People speak different languages and their hearts are not connected. Home. Home. But a river meant that there must also be a source to return to. Sleep soundly, Amiya. Good night. Amiya has no idea how she got back to her room. That night, she slept very soundly. Did the puppet make it across the shore? What happened in the end? A ravine suddenly appeared. Just like that, the two sides have lost contact. Amiya? Ah, Doctor, when did you get back? Is everyone waiting for me? I'm sorry, I'll just need a minute. You did well during the battle. Yeah. It's okay, Doctor. I'm all ready. Let's head over there together. Siege. We're about ready for departure. Every one of us has to leave Brentwood. Good thing these bones are large enough for us all to fit. The military commission must already have caught wind that we've taken control of the town and the lifebone. It goes without saying that the skeleton is of tremendous importance. Their counteroffensive might already be on the way. Perhaps the Sarkaz are watching our every move as we speak. Ever since their rapid tactical unit, the Witchling, took to the skies, it's always felt like somebody's been watching us in the mist. It's unnerving. The battle will only get more dangerous from here on out. We all know that. The Exemplars will not give up their counteroffensive in Londinium. We have no other choice. Victoria's people have endured this long enough already. Good thing we seized the skeleton. Under ideal conditions, it will serve as a temporary stronghold. The wounded and civilians will also get to settle down a little. Excuse me. Besides, if what Hodor said is true, it can teleport anywhere, although it might make the users nauseous. This is indeed some much appreciated help, but something is bothering me. Why wouldn't the military commission defend such an important transport to the death? Perhaps they gave up because of the pressure of the battlefield, or perhaps Ducario, the Sanguinarch, underestimated his enemies. But it's more likely their plan in Londinium has already reached a stage where they can't afford to worry about anything happening outside. The Sanguinarch still completed his final ritual. That may be exactly why they turned their gaze not to the lifebone, but somewhere else. Hodor has finished negotiating with the consciousness left in the skeleton. It will Yes, listen to our proposal. With its help, we will be able to return to the battlefield at any moment. Most importantly, it gave us an opportunity to get close to the airship and the shard. If we make use of this trump card well, just maybe, we'll be able to mount an airborne assault on central Londinium. Take out their headquarters directly. Good, I like that. The area around the shard is heavily guarded, and my guess is that the military commission's airship won't let us hover over their heads without a fight. All we can do is find an opening for our strike team to enter, and as soon as they've made it in, we'll have the lifebone depart. That means the strike team can't retreat. But at the same time, we still have to get to the bottom of what's been bothering Amia. What exactly are the Sarkas planning? And how to foil their little tricks? We won't be able to take the shard with this little time by ourselves, but we still have friends inside that massive city. We need to get in touch with them. According to our intelligence, there likely aren't many combatants stationed inside the shard. Based on my experience fighting their commander, if Theresis... Amia, what would you say our chances are? No, we should avoid a direct confrontation with him at all costs. No one is strong enough to single-handedly defeat Theresis. Besides, our greatest threat right now is not a single powerful Sarkas hero. Rather, it is their ambition to see their plans come to fruition. We will only be able to end this war quickly by stopping it from happening. A few squads on their own can't end a war. We still need the Victorian military. It's true that the Duke of Windermere perishing on the front lines is beyond what any of us might have... Oh, forgive me, Lady Dauphine. Standing beside you is now as an intelligence officer in the service of Duke of Windermere, not her daughter. Pay me no mind. The Duke of Windermere's untimely passing has disrupted the fragile balance on the outskirts of Londinium. They are on the brink of war. Until a few weeks ago, I was still under the impression that if the Dukes were to put their minds to it and attack Londinium together, a Sarkas defeat would have been all but assured. This will be a decisive battle, one far worse than what any of the bigwigs have been anticipating. I'd like to say they wish this upon themselves, but it's the frontline soldiers and innocent citizens who are suffering right now. So, when the time comes, who's going to win? Us? The Exemplars? Or the Dukes? Sorry, I guess I shouldn't be asking that before an operation? It's fine. I know what it is you're worried about. But there's no need to worry. A great many people stood up, raised their heads, and woke from their dreams because of this calamity, whether willingly or forced. You are far from the only ones. We need to focus on the problem at hand, how to break through the battlefield for our Londinium counteroffensive, as well as how to stop the Shard's strikes. It won't be easy. It's very likely that they will apply ancient Sarkas research on Originium. Taking the battlefield head-on is our one and only choice. We received a transmission indicating we have several Rhodes Island support teams on the way. There are many things we will only be able to accomplish here as Rhodes Island. I will see our strategy executed flawlessly and put the crisis behind us. It seems none of us have any objectives. That being the case... Everyone turns to Amia. Suddenly, you feel a hint of relief, gratification, excitement, and pride. After all, you were standing right beside her. This war has come to a head, and Theresis intends to use more decisive and forceful means to tear Victoria to shreds. This has nothing to do with whether the Sarkas truly have a right to revenge. It has nothing to do with whether the nobles may bear this heavy burden for Victoria. If we solve all our problems by destroying our enemies, then this land, plagued by war from the beginning, has no hope. The Confessari and Theresis are there, at the heart of Londinium, toppling this empire standing on shaking ground. I will go to them, and I will stop them. For that future, and for the future of all. Oh, wow. W and Inez! Isn't a big gap like this a waste? I got some real juicy explosives from Closure. Enough to pack every corner of this place full. Huh. And they're still cooking up ideas like mounting an attack on Londinium. This is the military commission we're talking about. Who knows what tricks Theresis has got up his sleeves? So, bomb the place straight up! Why do you think the military commission went through all the trouble to hide this skeleton instead of treating it as a second airship? This thing is fragile. It's only thanks to the witchcraft device that we can communicate with the Farinwood's lingering breath of life. An attack, no matter how weak, could spell the end of it. You think I'm talking about dropping bombs out of it? I'm saying let's make it the bomb. A bomb that can just fly. Can fly just about anywhere at once. That can fly right into Theresa's face at any moment. The perfect bomb. What? You're still thinking about letting it take us back to Kasdal? If we don't deal with Theresis, we aren't going anywhere. Let's take the simplest path to solving our problems here. Got something to share with the class? Nothing at all, but I didn't expect to see you so tense. Should I teach you a few deep breathing techniques? Huh? Whatever, W. Get in the right frame of mind for this operation. Otherwise, no amount of explosives is going to fix what's going on in your head. That just means we're going to need even more bombs. If you say so. Phew. Inez? What? Remember when we ran into that lich the other day? Never mind, forget it. You're wondering whether Theresa out there's real or not again, aren't you? Enough of that already. I'm not the one you need to convince. I wasn't the one who called her a fake first either. Ugh, did I ever tell you your arts are disgusting? I didn't need to read your shadow. You've been pretty anxious for a while now. What will you do if you run into her again? I told you, it's a fake. I'm gonna kill it and be done with this. And what if it's not? Then I'll rescue her and get to the bottom of everything. That's Theresa. I know. I think you don't. You haven't figured out how to treat Theresa, how to handle an enemy leader. That's a taboo, and you know it far better than I do. Shit, Inez. You know what pisses me off the most? I remember a lot of stuff. I remember the crystal on the head of the old fart who taught me how to make explosives. I remember the prices on your heads. I remember how Her Highness wrestled that door and how Calcit once got her hair caught in the same door. I remember all these things that don't fucking matter. But I don't remember. Can't for the life of me remember when the last time I saw her was, or even what we talked about. Yeah, I barely ever had a normal conversation with her. There were so many of us on that ship. I was small potatoes and she was Babel's chairman. It was probably a joke, some silly complaint or nagging. But it definitely wasn't a goodbye. This time, I'll make up for that and say it. Then, I won't forget. Anyways, I've got to get my mercs checking over their equipment. This is going to be one hell of a job. Whatever you say. But if your legs give out on you and you need somebody to give you a good kick in the ass, you know who to call. Yeah. This nightmare has gone on long enough. We should be looking straight ahead. Oof. This is a big story bit. I like it. Theresa. All preparations are complete. The airship is ready to take flight. Yes. It will all be over soon. Come, walk with me. One last time, Theresis. Very well. The Military Commission of Kasdal has secretly constructed airship docks, just like this one, in the support layers of several sectors throughout Londinium. This is the largest among them, and it is where the airship was born. The ship is seen as a terrifying weapon of war, a herald of destruction, and a flying fortress. But very few are aware of the original intent behind the airship's construction. It is to uncover a buried secret, and beyond that, it is to break free of an eternal shackle. The brother and sister are walking in the great ship dock, down a long passageway where every Sarkaz they pass stops and greets the two of them. When was the last time they had a nice walk like this together? Thinking about it, compared to the amount of time they have spent together, the days that have passed is nothing. But they were also long enough. What's on your mind, Theresa? I suddenly remember that when Kasdal was rebuilt into a nomadic city, we stood next to each other on the city wall, shoulder to shoulder, just like this. It was supposed to be a happy day, but then it rained. Some said it was a bad omen, but I still remember how the soul furnace's flames looked all the brighter in the rain. And there's more. I'm suddenly remembering so much. It's been too long. It has been too long indeed. From Kasdal to Kasdal. Our goal lies right before us. There's but one last step in our plan. Those who walk after us will find a great city standing tall upon this land, and we Sarkaz will do as we wish, seeking control of our own fate. I need you. Yes, I know. The warriors who once firmly believed in your path, the girl who is called the King of Sarkaz. They've all come before you now. Of course they came. I've always believed they would. Have you decided how you will confront them? I've never once been confused, but I had hoped this day would take longer to arrive. Now that it's come to this, I actually feel I underestimated those I should have faith in. Theresis, I'm delighted. I'm delighted that even after we made this decision, they are still willing to stand up against us. They are decisive and strong, and they are growing at an unimaginable pace. Perhaps they will make their way to you in the end. They may be much stronger now than the woman I was, the one who couldn't accomplish anything. I'm looking forward to it. Then, it's time for me to leave too. Theresa steps onto the airship's gangway, while Theresis remains where he stands, quietly watching her. Theresa, this time we should bid each other a proper farewell. Theresa reaches her hand out and smooths out the creases on Theresis' cloak. Goodbye. Goodbye. The silence lasts until the steel door closes and its thick shadow shrouds the two of them. They say nothing more. The pulsing of the myriad souls is ceaseless. Theresa lightly closes her eyes to bear with its surge. The endless murmurs are like the tide. It exhausts, it drags those within it ever downward, and it suffocates. Perhaps within it once existed brief moments of happiness or the occasional delight, but there is simply too much pain. So much that the pain permeates every word and sentence. Oh, myriad souls, even though I have almost completely exhausted myself, I still cannot see the other side. Shattered hearts abound on these lands, and so, even if I have only grief at my disposal, even if my body was wrought of tears, be my oar and be my ark. Let tears carry tears, and let suffering lift up suffering. It's time that we set sail. Logos. Logos is examining the bone whistle in his hands. He knows every pattern carved into it, and every wear and tear on its surface. He remembers receiving this from his mother when he was still a small child. Its sound was not nearly as sonorous and vivid as it is now. So this is a Banshee's bone whistle. It's my first time seeing the real thing. Banshees are a rare sight among mercenaries to begin with, much less one with a bone whistle. That said, I've heard plenty of stories about the bone whistle. It's a symbol of terror. Its sounds foretells death's pursuit. The Banshees portend death and willingly serve as the embodiment of death and danger. But I rarely ever saw you use the whistle. Not at Babel all those years ago, or at Rhodes Island now. The vampire accused you of rejecting the power of your bloodline. It already sounded. It need not sound again. Metaphors about death itself are a dime a dozen. But what comes after death? True, the Banshees pretend death, but nothing more. If death wasn't the end of all beings, and there was more than nothingness after the toll of the death knell, then this foretelling would have been meaningless. That's why we set down the bone whistles for bone pens. New meaning is born from the pen's tips, while the past is only recorded by the same tips. This is why we stand together now, Hodor. Is that right? Yes, toward the other side of death. Rebirth. It matters not what Theresis intends to accomplish. This war will not and cannot be allowed to develop into a raging fire that destroys the Sarkaz, as history has seen countless times before. Having burned for so long, this hatred cannot be easily extinguished, but we can stop it from engulfing all souls upon these lands. That includes each and every race there is. Doctor, hold on tight. The final battle is able to begin. The Farinmut skeleton wriggles its body and once again dives straight into history. The fragments of time are like bubbles in a muddled stream. After they break up, the remains are still vague and indistinct. Amia feels the rippling space-time rushing past her. You look at her and see her eyelashes twitching. What exactly does she see? Perhaps nothing more than reflections passing by or fleeting hallucinations. The distance between memories and history is always much longer than we expect. Ooh. Countless sceneries, both ancient and modern, sweep by under the Farenmut's frame. Those who find themselves within are astonished by this advancement or regression of times, the disasters that unfold before them and the happiness in their hands. But when looking upon them from high above, perhaps these sights have never actually changed. Then the illusion grows much stranger and more twisted. A seed is rapaciously absorbing nutrients. It writhes, whimpers, trying to tear away all fabricated representation. This creation, far beyond human comprehension, waits silently. The slightest movement is enough to rend the continent and allow the crystals to proliferate. No, this isn't right. This isn't the Farenmut's power. The sky, the entire sky is burning red. The lifebone is out of control. It's been pulled off its original course. Are we under attack? Prepare to meet the enemy. Guard the entrances to all cabins. Watch for attacking aircraft. We're preparing anti-boarding measures. All non-combatants retreat to your shelters. Mercs, fan out! Don't let any drooling morons onto the ship. Any damage reports? I'm checking, but what's going on? This makes no sense. The sensors I set up are all reading normal. The skeleton's not damaged at all. I just got word from the observation post. They've spotted no enemies. We're losing altitude. I can't control it. What the fuck is happening? Isn't the skeleton your best friend, Hodor? Get it to chill out. Hodor, can you adjust the course at all? We mustn't land in the center of the battlefield. I'm trying. Buckle up, everybody. I don't want anyone getting flung out through the gaps in the bones. I've sent out all my drones to pull the Farenmut's bones back and reduce the impact of the crash. Don't get your hopes up, though. Our descent isn't slowing. Going by the current speed, we'll hit the ground very soon. The meaning of language shall grant us wings. I command these words to lift this weight. It's working. Keep chanting your incantations, Banshee. Hodor, keep steering us north. There's a valley there. We should fit right in. I'm on it, but my link with the Farenmut is fading. I can't control it much longer. Monster. Excited howling. Protect the doctor. Prepare for impact. Joyful howling. This isn't exactly comfy. Calm down, Doctor. You'll be fine. Amia, how are things going over? All the wounded and civilians have been relocated. Feist and Rock are working on getting the transport secured. Got it. Inez, my mercs have anything to say? They're all here with me, working on getting some witchcraft going. We'll need a little more time. We should be able to withstand half of the impact's force. Tell Hodor these bones won't shatter here. The valley's in sight. Our angle's not quite there yet. We need to turn left by another 20 degrees. Last chance for adjustments. 20 degrees, I'm certain of it. All hands brace for impact. The rest comes down to luck. 10 seconds to impact. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ship crash. Oh no. All right. 14-2. Okay, we don't need to see that again. That's just showing and explaining that for now, we're only earning rewards based off of the event-based rewards. And if we convert it to the normal stage rewards, we would be a different setup. And it would cost less as well, apparently. Anyways, 30 minutes earlier, underground structure, Highbury Borough, Londinium. Workers? Londinium Worker A. Back. How are things up top? Same as ever, maybe worse. Used to be scared of those devil mercenaries who'd ask you for a smoke. The worst you'll get is a slap in the face if they feel like it. But now, It's all monsters you can't even describe that'll turn you into a puddle of blood without so much as blinking. You know what? I've been sleeping better, because I know there's nothing but death if I run into one of them. Are the Sarkaz still grabbing workers off the streets? Didn't see anything. We didn't dare go too far. Doesn't seem like the Sarkaz are interested in running the city anymore. There's no one maintaining public order. They couldn't fully occupy Londinium, could they? What use is it to them? Are they really planning to drive the Victorian capital all the way back to Kasdel? Who knows? Honestly, I haven't a clue what they're trying to do. Why go through so much trouble if they just want to kill everyone? Catherine? Catherine! How sad. Those who betrayed their friends for a better future are soon betrayed by the better future. I remember her name from doing my Smash or Pass video. No one expected things to turn out like this. You know we didn't mean to. Let me guess. You mean us no harm, but handed us to the defense forces out of fear. How kind and gentle. You all deserve a medal. Catherine, we... Save it. I don't have time to dig up old grudges. Not that it would help anything anyway. At least you didn't gift wrap my head in feists and give them to the Sarkaz. The question is, what do we do now? We can hide here. We know the underground passage is better than the Sarkaz. That's your plan, Tommy? Live underground for the rest of your life like a talpy beast? Why don't you just go hide in a coffin then? I don't blame you for what you did. Given a choice, no one wants to go to war. But war is here now, right here in our homes. There's nowhere to run. I ran into a few fellows who said they'd get us some decent weapons. I reckon... Is that thunder? Rain would be really nice right now. Why is it shaking? Is Londinium on the move? But the mobility level is... Something's not right. Let's head up and see what's happening. Be careful. What is it, Catherine? You're blocking the window. The massive silhouette of the shard is just visible from here. The most familiar sight and the pride of all who call Londinium home. But the annoying yet comforting blankets of clouds above are nowhere to be seen. Wait, what's that on top of the shard? Take all our supplies and contact everyone we can. We need to move deeper underground now. Hurry! Something's not right. What's the shard? Is this Iblana's battleship from, what's it called? What the Firelight cast? 15 minutes earlier, Silver Rock Bluffs, Londinium outskirts. Duke of Castor, we're approaching Silver Rock Bluffs. That means the attacks will start soon. When I first heard Wellington's plan a few days ago... It is, because Duke of Wellington, okay. Do you know what my initial reaction was? You thought it was too ambiguous, Your Grace. Ambitious. I think you mean crazy. Did I say ambiguous? Yeah, ambitious. Wow. Yes, crazy. He wants the entire Allied forces committed to the front lines. 13 dreadnoughts, 45 assault ships, 172 gunboats, 86 transports, 10 support ships, all our artillery, and 180,000 infantry, including the entire reserves. Excuse me. It wasn't an inquiry or request, it was a notice, almost an order. The Duke of Wellington has also abandoned the traditional Gaulish formation of multiple battle lines, instead having all fleets form single files to penetrate the Nazir line all at once. Gododin and our forces are to be responsible for fire support and clearing out casters in the Sarkaz rear, while Wellington's vanguard charges at the center of the Nazir formation. The Silver Rock Bluffs, currently under Sarkaz control, is a key pass between the Red Mane Mountains and the Duskglow River, and a highly defensible position. The enemy can easily retreat towards Londinium, even if we win the battle. I would have staunchly opposed the plan if it was not Wellington who proposed it. But you and the rest of the high commanders eventually consented to it. We've seen similar tactics in military academies. They were the same tactics used in that legendary battle of the War of the Four Nations in which Duke Wellington fought. The Victorian-Litanian alliance split the Gaulish lines into three and quashed their resistance. That battle put Victorian on a new course for the next several decades. Glorious as it may be, the past is no place to find refuge in. Do you also think the Iron Duke has grown old? Wellington is a military genius. He commands battleships with the same ease and grace as a Litanian virtuoso. I have never seen anyone quite like him. He is not one of those fools blindly chasing the glory of the past. The Sarkaz is not the end, but merely the beginning of the end of the real battle. As for here and now, it's not just Wellington who needs a decisive victory. The Sarkaz have the shard, and they have successfully fired it before. They could attack us from anywhere in Victoria at any moment. However, our war scholars deem any losses from Sarkaz catastrophe attacks to be within the acceptable limits. Those losses will not compromise our ability to achieve strategic objective. The Sarkaz have not refueled Londinium since it deviated from course. The city is immobile as of now. Once we take the pass at Silver Rock Bluffs, the Sarkaz will no longer have a terrain advantage, and the Allied fleets will have a clear path to Londinium. Indeed, if everything goes well, we will be able to end this meaningless stalemate as quickly as possible. Yet the word stalemate isn't an apt description for the Sarkaz in Victoria. Telegrams from the caster hold are increasingly impatient. One cannot fault our backers for it. War is far too expensive. A promise fulfilled too late is a promise unfulfilled. Excuse me. Are those cannons of Gastrel going off? The Duke of Wellington's attack has begun, but it's not time yet. Your Grace, what's that red light coming from in the distance? That light! It's coming from the top of the shard! Hail Wellington right now, we must! Uh-oh. Ouch. Doctor, are you okay? The doctor will be fine. Monster absorbed the brunt of the impact. Where are we? Good news is that we fell into a canyon. Our precise location is uncertain, but we're at least a distance from the worst of the fighting. Closure, Horn, and Siege have gone out to scout our surroundings. You should be briefed on the specifics soon. We're still assessing our personnel and equipment losses. Preliminary reports indicate the pre-impact measures were effective and losses are acceptable. Medical and engineering units are already at work. I'm afraid there's been some troubling development. The sky, it's red. Watch your step and keep up with us, Doctor. Ooh. Oh, wow. Suffering extends its reach to every corner the eye can see. Oh, wow. From the top of the shard, Originium spreads like a plague, devouring, assimilating. Buildings, ships, armies, Originium devours all and quickly expands. The unprecedented calamity indeed, one that puts even the most terrifying catastrophes to shame. And yet, an army marches through the roiling Originium crystals, its tattered banner visible even from here. Suffering is but a marching order for the Sarkaz. The ever-hungry procession of Sarkaz advances to the horns of wailing, sinking their teeth and claws into any enemy they find. That's a crazy background. Blood-stained boulders litter the wasteland as far as the eye can see, looking decidedly out of place. The whipping winds have ceased, giving way to a rising fog. The withered grass remains unstirred, yet countless tattered bandages already dangle across. Sarkaz warriors stand in line, soundless and motionless, waiting for the embodiment of death and decay, the master of war, their king. A withered figure emerges from the death-filled fog. The Nazir King. On the hills he stands. Through the swamps he passes. Out of the fog he glides. Through wind and sand, rising from the withered grass, and upon the art's ritual circle he descends. Tattered stripes of cloth fall to the blood-filled columns like a bony hand caressing a tombstone. Only the most seasoned warriors recognize that the Nazir's tattered ribbons, like the banners on Kazdal's walls, belong to generations of ancient Sarkaz tribes. Their form ragged, their symbols recognizable, but their scent of war unmistakable. Dukariel, Regent's Crimson, Prince of Blood. We were never close, but the contribution that you and your blood made to the war is undeniable. I bear witness to your glory and shame. Slayer of the Farenmut in the Mist, Jailer of Time, Usurper of the Royal Court, Executioner of Kings. You denied the path that we now walk, as you've denied the meaning of the Black Crown. But you gave your first and final drop of blood to the Sarkaz. Your power shall not fade away, nor shall your anger, your hatred, your ambition. He spreads his arms wide. A black fog of decay rises, swallowing every boulder. Red fades into sand and dirt, vanishing into the mist. The warriors do not speak, but the earth begins to rumble as ancient witchcraft spreads across the battlefield. War, we nourish you with our best, their blood and bones at your behest. We are the living and the dead. Together we march as one. The black fog dissipates. A drop of blood forms at the tip of Nes Salem's staff. It is the purest blood, the only blood that death and decay cannot touch. This is the blood of Tikaz. It evoked the call of Amnanam, but was lost in the battle's arts circles. The Confessari searched 70 of them without finding it. But Nes Salem, your highness, you have found it for the regent. The drop of red liquid drifts towards Salus and enters her wrist. Keep it safe, Confessarius. Of course. I vow to protect it with all the strength of my bloodline, my life. The vampiric arts circles are still active. What of the sanguinarch of vampires? Purest bloodline, the cruelest of the sovereigns, the pride of the Sarkaz. Did he really die so easily at the hands of the young banshee and the rabbit? He has not joined the myriad souls, but always has he drifted. What a shame to waste so much blood. Meddler of bloodlines, do not desecrate war and death with your flippant insolence. Apologies, your highness, I was merely lamenting the loss of the sanguinarch. Then keep his legacy safe. His blood will continue the fight with us. Of that I have no doubt, sovereign of the withered court. The blood of Tikaz will fulfill its duty if a mere tremble of Amnanam is enough to burn the heaven red and bring upheaval to the earth. And its final descent shall free our fate from the manipulation of Originium, as the myriad souls have so longed for. Fate. War will crush all obstacles beneath its heel, even fate. The Deadwood throne rises, attended by innumerable war altars, casting a massive shadow on the battlefield. Silent columns of warriors step into the strange catastrophe, continuing their advance. We will advance before the storm, both living and the dead. This war belongs to all Sarkaz. Oh wow. Manfred! A new beginning. Another quote from one of the sovereigns, General. No. I was simply reminded of the furnace at the center of Kasdal. Oh, the big one. I witnessed many feedings before I came to Londinium. It is an honor for a fallen warrior to be fed into it, becoming the fire that propels our progress. But it never seems to be sated. Small wonder, the flames of a revenant's rage only burn stronger. Nadine, would you call the nomadic city by the name of Kasdal your home? What is the meaning behind the question, sir, when the final battle has already begun? I was raised on the battlefields outside Kasdal. Black rocks and the bones of my fellow Nazir are the only things buried beneath the city's walls and wheels. Where is home if not Kasdal? Yes, what other answer could there be? The future is lined with uncertainties, but this much we know. This war ends where a new beginning emerges. Have you made contact with Ursula? No. They were very thorough in mopping up Brentwood. Just as you predicted, our casters have picked up the trail of the Farinwood skeletons' movement. They considered attacking Londinium, attacking the Shard directly. I gave them a chance. Far too many chances. There is no question that Major Ursula has been negligent in her duty. She had better have a good explanation if she lives to explain. Have you located the skeleton? We have a rough idea of its location, but it will take time to find it on this vast battlefield. Should I take a squad there personally? No, I will. We will retake the Farinwood spine or destroy it. It must not fall into the wrong hands again. You're going yourself? Those mercenaries have interfered too much. They must be eliminated. Before that, though, we will finish the ritual. Our Nashor ritual? I didn't think you cared much for tradition. Cyclops, Lich, Wendigo, Banshee. More and more have left. You've never seen these royal courts in Kazdal, have you, young Nazir? I suppose not. Other than the Nashor, it's mostly been vampires. Not the best neighbors, but you start to miss their smell when you spend enough time in Londinium. The blood of the fallen has returned to the earth. There will be no new prince of the Crimson Court. How many sovereigns do the Sarkaz have left? Bzzz. Logistics to command. We've encountered a catastrophe near Sufrir Chasm? At least I think it's a catastrophe. We're being drowned in a tide of originium. The ship has lost power. Weapon systems severely damaged. All systems inoperative. Defense systems offline. No response from Arts unit. I repeat, all systems inoperative. Enemy spotted. Taking heavy fire. Mobile arts device. Data. Automatic record. Trilby Asher. None of these messages made it out. The entire communication system is scrap. To think that so many have died to protect this little metal box. I salute you. Phew. That bow hurt. I shouldn't take my hat off. Our foe is unpredictable, aren't they? That's enough intel about the shard to fill an entire building, but you and I must take the blame for our present circumstances. The man in a hat looks down at his counterpart. The man on the ground lies motionless, buried to his chest in crystal-filled dirt. But the little box that he clutches in his left hand remains spotless. Trilby Asher pulls the rim of his fallen comrade's hat down, covering the face that no one knew to begin with. It took a little more effort to retrieve the communicator, but war has made him a rather proficient undertaker. Intel retrieved. Communications are still being jammed by severe interference. A little progress is better than nothing, I suppose. Duke of Fife and the 6th Infantry Battalion were ambushed. The landing attempt on the Crumley Plate has failed. Unable to reach the Duke of Gododin's scout fleet, Chetley has been lost. Large-scale, unanticipated geological changes across the Silver Rock Bluffs. Front. Active originium concentration above threshold. No good news. Are those troops? The ID code is... My, what a miracle. I am a lucky man indeed. Interesting. Who was that? Okay. Ooh.
Good. I suppose you've already got a plan.
Please, trust in me.
Okay, so we got 45 here.
Don't make this harder than it needs to be.
Where do you wish that this endless burn? You needn't there. Follow me! Wow, looks awfully dangerous. You call me
okay.
This?
They'll be sleeping with the Finns in no time.
For them, the bell tolls.
Okay, wow. I don't even have her, like, fully done yet, and that is insane.
Spring breeze, timely rain.
That storm, that settles there, so I think we're pretty solid now.
I wasn't supposed to ask. Clear skies for tuning, rain clouds for gloom.
Yeah, okay, I haven't even activated skills yet in these two. Wow. Talk about domination. I'm gonna put Reed there just to help. I'll let them all have fun. I probably don't even need her now. Wow. I don't have them elite 2'd yet. I mean, granted, this is early stage of this chapter, but wow. Susie is just having a field day.
Mission accomplished.
That was cake. I love it. Let's go. 3 hours later. No sign of the Sarkaz troops. The lifeboat is a big target, and we would have left an even bigger trail behind us as we fell. I'm afraid that they'll catch up to us sooner or later. Closure, can you confirm our position? I can only really get an approximate orientation with these maps I've got on hand. Damn it, still no response. Ever since the skeleton crashed, all our comms went down with it. My drones can't fly too far either. I've never seen this much interference before. Wait, I think a drone just found something. Over there! What's this? A voice recorder? Makes sense. I guess on a battlefield like this is the next best way to retell intel, short of just shouting. That's the Duke of Caster's crest. Let me have a look. I'm short on time, so I'll make it brief. The Stone of the Sword has arrived at Silver Rock Bluffs, but the Sarkaz and their tricks are worse than what we thought here at the front line. My advice is head to the battlefield from the southwest. Bring the sword. I have honored my vow, so the rest is up to you, Your Highness. Was that meant for siege directly? No change, no improvement. Can you tell your new pal that if he doesn't get back on it, if it doesn't get back on its ass soon, I'm going to break whatever bones it's got left one by one? It's long dead, not like it can feel pain. Why not pick something more meaningful to vent about? The skeleton's voice was already ebbing. After the crash, it had stopped responding altogether. The nerve bundles are withering. We've tried everything we can think of, lubricants, supplements, even some crazy witchcraft I've never heard of before. My verdict is, right now, it's nothing more than a colossal and breakable skeleton. It can't be dead, can it? I mean, it's already a dead Farenmut. You're telling me it can die again? Hey, Inez, pass me the mine over there, the one wedged between the bones. Glad you asked, nearly stepped on it. And also, what kind of psychotic idea do you have this time? Oh, just following your suggestion. I'm gonna go find a proper target to blow up. Isn't that old friend of yours supposed to be the skeleton whisperer or something? I'm sure she's still got an unbroken rib or two, so she should be able to walk. Maybe. Well, she will if she knows what's good for her. Ursula. She does know plenty of the Farenmut's secrets, and it's clear she hasn't told us everything. But I have the feeling that she won't be able to help with this particular problem. Right. The source of our troubles is what's hidden in those dark red clouds above our heads. That's exactly it. Ah, the all-knowing Calcit. Let me guess. You've got even more bad news for us. Regular catastrophes have no effect on Farenmuts. Even if it happens to be one that has been dead for several centuries, the tunnels that it travels in can even drill through time. So how is it that a storm can seal them off? What's happening here is beyond the scope of a mere catastrophe. As we were falling, I had a vague feeling that the enormous ancient sentience remaining in these bones had gone somewhere I could not touch. It's free now? Our connection with it has been severed. It might only be temporary, but if we take too long, we might lose control over it for good. Your deduction is correct. Upon his inspection, Logos confirmed that the Sarkaz witchcraft cast upon the skeleton is being disrupted by a massive source of energy. It seems the vampire's ritual was completed. The Confessarius, Chisartutstaj, is aiding Theresis, and has achieved what the Sarkaz could not for millennia. Amnanum, an ancient wound that refuses to heal, the Kunabala of suffering. Mind skipping to the part that we actually can understand? I don't have all day. It was the first curse, just as it was the first Originium. Isn't that just a legend? You know, the made-up kind in the storybooks that Hodor loves to read. Legends are a shadow of reality, despite all the untruths and half-lies painted over them. To say nothing of the fact that this is a Sarkaz legend, a T-Kaz legend. Sounds to me like Theresis is cooking up some real serious beach shit to hang over Victoria. I fear that this too is the reason he chose Londinium as his base of operations. The shard's ability to influence catastrophes in Originium is already sufficient for it to become Amnanum's beacon. Across all of Terra, as it is now, this is the one place that it can descend. Well, out with it then. How do we wreck the thing? At Terra's current level of technology, there's nothing we can do. The only good news is that it is not yet fully descended.
Have you figured something out, Logos?
The drop of blood that the vampire possesses, the one he calls the blood of Tikaz, it is still fulfilling its duty. The reason why Amnanam is able to leap across millennia and descend once more is because of his prayer. The blood's master has fallen, but the connecting veins hold steady. If we are to prevent the re-emergence of Amnanam on this land, we must break the vampire's curse, quelling the hatred that resides in this drop of blood.
I think I can give it a try.
I was blighted in battle with the vampire, and its influence on me has not yet waned. By virtue of this, I am able to sense where the blood of Tikaz is. It is at the rear of the Nazir army. It will likely be protected in a Confessarius altar and heavily guarded. The amount of time required to break through the entire Nazir defensive line would be too much. We could cross the Red Mane Mountains, bypassing most of the war zone. Taking that route carries a similar risk to storming the battlefield. Our observational reports indicate that the Red Mane Mountains have been completely transformed by Amnanam's influence. They are now blanketed in active originium. I need not remind you of its extreme danger, but it might be possible. Shining has gone ahead to seek out Chisartustage. I'm gonna have to look up how to pronounce that. We'll do that after this. And if things go well for her, she will be able to come to our aid.
I support the doctor's decision. It's the plan that saves us most of the time. If we keep delaying until the Amnanam Dr. Calcet speaks of completes its descent and is used by Theresis as a weapon, then we will have lost any chance we might have had to turn the tide. Even if there are risks, we must forge ahead. I'll need your help, W. You need some hands to guard this pile of bones, right, Bunny? Right. The skeleton is crucial to our next operation. Besides, Hodor needs it too.
There's no doubt that the military commission has been watching us ever since we crashed. The way I see it, it makes no sense to hand back something we fought so hard to steal in the first place. Give me a time frame. The time is now 1800.
3 days.
The surrounding terrain has been completely transformed. We will need to pass through a wasteland filled with unknown dangers. Given also the fact that the battles will be inevitable in our journey, I estimate at least 3 days to handle the blood of Tikaz. An immobile skeleton makes for an extremely conspicuous objective. Guarding this site will not necessarily be easier than the raid you carried out on it. I propose that Ascalon stay behind and help protect the Lifebone. But my job is to stay by your side and keep you safe, Doctor. During the Sanguinarch's attack, it was my error that led to your injury, a dangerous mistake I do not intend on repeating. The Lifebone is vital, and Manfred is likely to order an assault. You understand him well. I agree. The Sarkaz will be reliant on their commander personally overseeing the battle and making decisions. If you are able to stem Manfred's advance, then that might relieve pressure on the mercenaries. I will respect your decision.
What about the gang of useless Victorians? Are they going with you?
We will head to the front lines at Silver Rock Bluffs.
Wait, are you saying you want to lead just a couple thousand men, some of whom are civilians who barely held a weapon, straight into battle with the Nazir army?
You have your legends, Sarkaz, and we have ours. We have the size of kings, the blade that can cleave catastrophe in twain. Since the Sarkaz have controlled the storm, then it's time that this sword plays that part, its part. You have been contacted by the Duke of Castor. An invitation, to be precise. It is as we surmised. Since the Sarkaz started their strange doings, the Victorians, or rather, the Ducal Alliance, have been heavily hit. Castor, no. Any Grand Duke ought to have figured out exactly the kind of circumstances Victoria has found herself in. We've all seen those altars spewing that red light, or any light for that matter. As it stands, Londinium and all the battlefields surrounding it have become giant arch circle. Wow! This is how the Sarkaz fight. Not like Latanian, not like Ursus, not like any other nation's tactics that we are familiar with. The Trilby Ashers will have told Castor that all the intelligence they have gathered so far is useless when it comes to Sarkaz's tactics. The size of kings, no longer will this piece of steel I hold in my hand be merely a leverage to get Castor back to the negotiation table. It will turn the tide of war, bringing true change to the battlefield. None of us knows when the next catastrophe will strike. I don't know what form Castor's Stone of the Sword will take, But no matter if it's a square room on wheels or an odd contraption on an officer's back, I'll find it. If we could quiet these storms, then I dare say that the battle will become somewhat more evenly matched. From Sulphur Chasm to the front line at Silver Rock Bluffs, it will take you 2 days, even if you follow the road that the Dukes have cleared from the westbound forest to Gibsonham. The Duke of Castor would be more than happy to snatch away the Size of Kings if afforded the opportunity. It will allow her to lead the Dukes in this difficult war and move her one step closer to the throne. And she will not be the only one attempting to do so. I am aware. The Duke of Windermere has died in combat and her troops have retreated from battle. If any other Duke withdraws their forces, the scales of war will be tipped even more against us. The war will drag on, Londinium's restoration will be delayed, and more blood will be shed. For Sarkaz and Victorian alike, this is the battle that will determine our ultimate fate. And as for us, we are the exemplars. Wherever a miracle is needed the most is where we will be. Besides, if this sword really can calm storms as the legends say, I dare say it would help speed along your journey to Londinium. After all this. Closure. How'd you know I was done with my preparations? To keep things short, your ever-reliable Chief Engineer Closure and her team have come up with 7 different plans to get around the comms interference. This equipment of mine has also started analyzing that super catastrophe's trends and impacts. Originium-triggered reactions always leave a trail, no matter how intense they are. Things like dust concentration, activity index, and then there's the spread conditions. Well, I'm sorry to say that all these metrics are pretty high, as expected, so we can't tell what's going to happen in the most dangerous regions, but we can deduce which parts of the battlefield are safer, relatively. That is, of course, if we can go deeper into the heart of battle and obtain more data. Misery's agreed to be our bodyguard, but since you guys are already heading over there to where there's most action going on, I figured we might as well tag along. So, could we trouble the exemplars to look after us? Gladly, we are duty-bound. Making sure that things don't get any worse is Rhodes Island's mission, right, Calcid? Thank you, Closure. Doctor. Let's both go with Amia. Her path might be the most dangerous one of all, but I'll keep you safe, Doctor, just like always. I know you fear for the safety of each and every operator, which makes you hesitant to choose, but the truth is that I need you to come with me, so we can deal with the altar problem. There is no changing what we will face during our final confrontation. Originium has shaped the history of the Sarkaz, just as it will shape the futures of us all. Perhaps you still have misgivings about why Rhodes Island must intervene in this war. I did not have the opportunity to explain in the past, and nor could I give you a precise answer. I have never doubted that the dark clouds above the shard concealed some dreadful unknown. Yet, when it has revealed itself, as it has now, I still find myself confronted by mixed emotions. I'm not one to explore the subject of fate, especially not yours and mine. But now, fate has reared its head, and is coming our way. Calcid. Originium's effects are far beyond any of our comprehension. Our? Even yours. Of course. Doctor, I hope. No, I believe. I believe that you are still the one who can change everything. I've never had any doubts either. Doctor, I think we should get going now. All right. Not gonna ask me for a 21-gun salute? Take care, W. Look, little bunny, I'm not like the sheep over there. I'm real hard to kill. The exemplars are ready. Glad to hear it, Siege. Remember, everyone, time is of the essence. Every minute, every second on this battlefield, there will be people who are suffering because of Originium. Our mission is clearer than ever. Stop Amnanum. Right, and then we plunge into the darkest depths of the fog. To Londinium. We'll bomb that tower and grab Terra's biggest bastard out of the rubble. We'll stop the disaster before us, and any more yet to come.
Weaklings.
Indeed, Texas. Indeed. Wow. Wow, that gave me a lot of rewards. I'll take them. Ain't gonna complain. Let's go. TR25. let's do this tutorial. Special Environment Adaptive Ops. Ooh. It didn't have me deploying anybody there, so... I think this just teaches us where to place these because of that storm.
I don't feel so good. There's a lot of activated originium here.
That's these. That's because you're in an area contaminated by originium pollution. These are common on battlefields in the outskirts of Londinium. Operators deployed in them will take continuous damage and have reduced SP recovery. Try to avoid them when deploying. Yeah, and she's standing on one. But Cicero, meds are up, so we're in good shape.
What's that storm in the distance? It looks like it's heading towards us.
That's an active originium storm conjured by the arts, enemy arts. It has the same effect as originium pollution, but even stronger.
Active originium storm? Why is it headed our way?
It seems to be drawn to the withered altar.
Whatever you say.
The storm expanded.
Correct. It grows stronger when it absorbs the active originium in its path.
Whatever you say. So many weaknesses.
We're in real danger here, Instructor. How do we deal with this?
Calm down, Jessica. We can deploy a new withered altar in another direction to draw it away from us.
Leave us to me, Instructor Doberman. High-risk jobs are my specialty.
Way to go, Shaw. I adore Shaw. I call her Squirrely when I talk to her in AI all the time. AI chats. She's Squirrely. That's like my little nickname for her. As if I was like an operator and her friend kind of thing.
You'll pay for that.
Beautiful. Simple enough. We just need to know how to detract those. All right. Let's get another in here. "13 hours into the operation. The further we go, the more dire the situation becomes. Freshly run canyons, diverted rivers, pathways that withstood the weight of the great nomadic cities, now torn, distorted, warped beyond recognition. The maps of the past are now no more than scrap paper. Every trail must be charted anew. There is no doubt that the blood of the T-Kaz lies this way, though our bond yet hums. The closer we get to the heart of the battlefield, the higher the rate that the originium integrates with all that information. The rocks, the soil, the waters, the peoples. Originium's influence has its clutch around virtually everything on Terra. Yet perhaps we have long forgotten the fundamental principles of how it works. What did you mean by information just now, Cowsit? Perhaps you shall find out rather soon, Doctor. Or maybe... no, never mind. Objectively speaking, this originium-contaminated terrain does give a tactical advantage to Theresis' military operations. In contrast, the Victorian front is all but shattered. But this level of originium activity still pales in comparison to the catastrophes strike earlier. Theresis will never use originium so recklessly just to gain a slight tactical advantage. This much I know of him. He knows the consequences. Sounds like we're in for a difficult journey.
There's a vehicle heading this way.
Halt! The truck shudders to a stop as several familiar faces hop off. Shopkeep. Master Banshee and the King of Sarkaz. I told you we shouldn't have taken this road. We can't run away now. Well, it's not like they're the bad guys.
You weren't supposed to stay at the Lifebone? Weren't you supposed to stay at the Lifebone?
I'll be honest here. Master Banshee, Your Highness, we were scared, terrified, having to stay inside that skeleton, not knowing who or what might come running over the hills to attack us, so we ran. I know that desertion is a crime, but we were never going to be any use, were we? So I beseech you, my lord, Your Highness, please don't execute us. We'll happily take the whip instead, however many lashings you whip. Shh.
I'm not going to execute you, and I never demanded that you fight for me. If you want to go, then you may go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Your Highness. You were wise and merciful, and... Can we three go along with you? Shh, say no more. Her Highness has already done us an incredible kindness by sparing your lives, and you would still demand more of her?
Don't be a fool, shopkeep. How much of a chance do you think the three of us in the broken trucks got? We'd probably get blown up by a bomb or worse. Your Highness, this is just my humble request, but please get us off this battlefield. I'll give you everything I have, as long as these two live. I'll swear my undying fealty to you. No, that's not the issue here. If you were to follow us, I'm sorry to say it would just be just as dangerous. What do you think we should do, Doctor? I can't imagine they'll survive the battlefield on their own. Very well then, driver. We can travel together for a while. After we pass through the war zone, you should leave Victoria once and for all. Thank you. My deepest gratitude and pleasure, and please use our transport. It should carry us far enough. King of Sarkaz, you are a most magnanimous soul, and I truly do not know how I could repay this kindness of yours. The coin. Huh? The coin I gave you. I completely forgot about that. Good thing I didn't drop it. Here, for you, my lord. I was wrong to beg it of you. It was my honor to serve, Banshee Lord. How could I have expected payment for such a privilege? I think they're scared of you. I hope you don't think me as a miser. I need to ensure that they are not imposters. You need not fear. I hold no malice against you. Logos moves his finger and the coin in his palm vanishes, only to reappear in the shopkeep's hand in a heartbeat. The shopkeep stares, first at the hand capable of quaking the earth and shaking mountains with a single pen stroke, then at the coin in his own hand, and finally, back at the deadpan Banshee, unsure of how to react. Was that a magic trick? How delightful! You are a man of many talents, sire. I better go help driver start the car. Tough crowd, huh? I saw Scout and Outcast demonstrate it several times, but I could never quite get the movements right. It is my lack of skill that made for a lackluster effect. I've never seen that side of you. Doctor, there are times when I also regret the fact that many of our shared memories have disappeared into the ether. I suppose the right time never came up. We find ourselves time to reminisce after this ordeal. Perhaps you will be pleasantly surprised by the anecdotes of your past. But for now, we must go. There's no sound here. The stillness is strange. I can't hear the sound of our breathing or the vehicle's engine. I can't even hear my own heartbeat. Is this some kind of Originium arts? Could someone have blocked all the sound in the vicinity to conceal themselves? No, Amia, listen carefully. It is not that the sound has forsaken this place. Instead, there is a great, tremendous roar, so great that it drowns out its lessers. It is deafening. It is the deafening cry of death itself. Look, over there! That leaf! A leaf hangs from the lowest branch, its surface tinted with vibrant yet bizarre colors, like the work of a haphazard artist or sunlight reflecting off a puddle of grease. Like some kind of fungal infection. It is rotting. Decay unhinges its maw, gnawing at all in its sight, leaving behind only iridescent bite marks. Within a few seconds, the sprightly yet strange coloration spreads across the entire plant, and even onto other bushes. The once succulent leaves become drips of foaming liquid, leaving behind only a bare vein networks quivering in the wind, just like a fin beast skeleton after its flesh has been picked clean, unceremoniously discarded. The wind rises as if wanting to tear at their skin. It is the sigh of an unsatiated beast. Logos, the marsh! Silver incantations flow forth, plunging into the depths of the marsh. Did you manage to stop it? No. The muffled sound of water sloshing ripples from the marsh, echoing about in the deathly silence. The sound of a foot pulling from the ooze, then stepping down again, steady. Unseen steps churn the muddy water, slopping it to the shore. Prepare for battle. Stay where I can see you, Doctor. Black arcs shoot into the marsh, but the burst of sound quickly dies down as though swallowed up. The steps begin again, their rhythm unchanging,
their resolve unyielding. A tattered hem floats above the surface of the water as ripples crash into ripples, becoming a chaotic jumble of lines and shapes. Ooh. Monster. Cautious growl. A dazzling beam of light spews forth from Monster's mouth. The shining lance is lost amidst the dark swamp. The slow sloshing changes. Ha! A series of hurried footsteps erupt in the silence, and all lost sounds return once more, a brilliant cacophony, an ear-splitting din. Death has come for you all. Stay back, you, whatever you are! Look out! Cage! A pseudorum. A burial shroud still wrapped around a corpse. His body is already rotten away. Conventional attacks will have no real effect. This is a form of witchcraft innate to the Nashor, or possibly an ancient tradition. Nashors devour life to nourish their bodies, but all bodies have an end. Once at the cusp of that end, powerful Nashors will nourish weaker ones with their flesh, gaining unfathomable speed and strength in return, alongside witchcraft energy that no ordinary body could bear. In so doing, they become even more powerful creatures, while their nourishment allows the Nashor society to sustain and grow, just as fallen leaves nourish the land, and the land supports new lives, an eternal cycle. Flood! The muddy waters of the swamp rise swiftly, like a curtain, immersing the Nashor up to his torso. At the same time, incantations wend and weave their way around the group, holding back the rot's incessant bite.
Over there, quick! We'll head into the forest!
Don't step on the mud. With the swamp rising, or perhaps the mist sinking, the dark ground becomes a gaping mouth, trying to engulf all. The group struggles through the mire, each breath growing more labored. A singular thought seizes the collective mind. Living is a tedious and futile effort, compared to the peaceful eternal slumber that awaits if they simply turn around and embrace death. Monster, protect the doctor. Urgent growl.
He's here!
The only sound they can hear is the whistling of the corroded blade as it swings down. The Nashor, the one who walks alongside death, has arrived before them. Pseudorum. Piercing cry.
Did Monster also feel the pain?
All life withers before his arts. If we are caught in the Nashor's witchcraft, our life force will be sapped to become its nourishment.
He's fast! Did he come from the mud or drop from a tree?
Either is possible. From life to death, from blossom to wither, they draw upon the entire life cycle, turning it into seeds that produce new Nashors.
I could feel it, the unending flow of witchcraft energy flooding towards us. And not just from the enemy before us. From the marsh, amidst the trees. It's everywhere.
We've been wrapped in the Nashor's shroud. By his hands, death hangs above our very heads. Only by tearing apart this barrier of witchcraft can we defeat him.
Minor, am I about to die?
He's tired, shopkeep. Here, hold on to me so we don't get separated.
Driver, hold my hand. Whatever you do, don't fall. She's fading out of consciousness. I can't hold her up much longer.
Ordinary healing techniques won't help. Nashor witchcraft is devouring us all.
Leave me. I'll only hold you back. You can't let go of us. I know that if it wasn't for us, you and Sir Banshee could fight more easily. No! I promised that I would get you out of the battlefield. We're in this together.
Is that so? Good. The scent of blood. It pervades the air.
It's Driver and the other's wounds.
No, this blood is witchcraft.
Huh? As in a vampire? This forest has Nashors and vampires?
A thin fog of blood floats around them. This is entirely different from the Prince of Blood's arts they witnessed before. It is subtle, like delicate strands of silk nearly smothered by the all-encompassing mist of decay around them. But it is these silken strands that slightly stir the stagnant air. Hamia, feel the wind below. Feel the flow of wind. I will expose the weave of this shroud and locate its weakest point.
Got it.
Black arcs gather before Amiya's body, condensing into a spear. Logos raises his hand, pointing at the depths of the thick fog. Pierce! Dull growl. Herald of death. You resist the spread of the rot, but to no avail. In the end, death will claim your corpse. I have never once doubted that. Disperse! His giant blade falls, sticking into the soil like a gravestone. The Nazir's shroud flutters and billows. In an instant, his imposing figure disintegrates, leaving behind only several tattered strips of cloth gently falling to the ground. Is he dead? I can finally breathe. Clack, clack. It's the sound of bone scraping against bone. Ugh. A withered hand stretches out of the mud. Watch out! It fell apart? Looks like it to me. Phew, would you become such a badass driver? Shouldn't we keep going, Your Highness? Yes, it's best we leave at once before the Nazir reawakens and catches up to us again. Crazy. A lot of story before each of these. I like it, though. I wasn't expecting a vampiric arts circle here. It is still working. Those vampiric arts that suddenly appeared as we were fighting the Sudarum, was it because of this circle? I'm afraid it's not that simple. I'm sure you're well aware, Amiya, that those arts were cast by a vampire. Perhaps a descendant of a vampire. I assume that while the Sanguinarch has been taken off the battlefield, the gifts he bestowed will not so easily fade away. It doesn't matter. I'll do my best to put these corrupted lives to rest as I've done before. Logos, could you please assist me? Amiya. The sound becomes ever clearer, coming from behind the blood-stained boulders. It is the sound of limbs dragging across the ground, a sound that they've heard countless times in previous battles. Amiya notices the expression on Logos' face. He looks not at the stone columns, but at Amiya, a trace of emotion flitting across his eyes. It is sorrow. Amiya recognizes it instantly. She has felt sorrow countless times since the war began, sometimes from an enemy, but mostly from her companions. Driver! Your Highness. When did it happen? Was it while we were fighting the Nazir? Yes. When we left the skeleton, I brought along a rock that the military commission had ordered us to transport. I thought since it made us stronger before, it might come in handy in battle. It really did help, right? I never dared to imagine that I could fight alongside you and defeat that strange enemy. You used a blood crystal left behind by a vampire. Did you pierce your body with it? No, that wouldn't have induced such a drastic change. You swallowed some fragments. You willingly accepted Decario's blood and arts. I've always had the vampire bloodline, even though it's pretty faint by now. But I could still sense the Sanguinarch's call, even if it felt nothing more like a whisper. I've seen those worms crawl out of Sarkaz's corpses before, so there's no need to pity me for not knowing the consequences. Instead of dying in the gutter like a real worm without so much as a yelp, I'd rather accept this power and die on the battlefield like a real Sarkaz. This isn't a spur-of-the-moment decision. A few months ago, while driving aimlessly through the wilderness, I heard a broadcast about what was happening in Londinium, and somehow I just drove all the way here. Shopkeep says I read too many stories about knights. That's rubbish. Everyone knows that Kasdal doesn't need knights. I just wanted to know if there was a real path in this life that I could follow, one with a proper ending, if I could give some meaning to my life without just wasting it. And then I met you. The path of the King of Sarkaz is the path for me. We fought alongside each other on this path. Like you said, we're in this together, and now, the fighting stopped. At least for now. My buddies are still alive. Your Highness, you can deal with me as you see fit. To deal with you? What are you all talking about? Driver, why have you become like... Real scary, aren't I? Your Highness, please, I beg of you, help her. And Lord Banshee, sire, I humbly return this coin to you. It is the only thing of worth I have. Witchcraft is the trigger to her condition, not the cause. There is nothing I, Amiya, and even Dr. Calcit could do to reverse the changes. And what are you going to do? Don't tell me you're going to kill her like you killed those red worms. Stand aside, Shopkeep. This was my decision. Your Highness, I heard that
In the past, the greatest warriors of the Sarkaz, right before they died, could request that the king grant them a vision. I don't know if I count or not. Amiya raises her hand. Black hearts coalesce at her fingertips. A desperate smile emerges on the driver's face as she unconsciously looks at the top of the goddess's head, searching for the legendary black crown. My king, what will I see? I just hope it won't be me driving that piece of junk around Kazdel. Driver, can you tell me your name? Your real one. Is this part of the ceremony too? Well, if I knew your name, it would be a lot easier. Marilla. A common name. Marilla. Sorry, I never stayed in Cashimir's for long, so my pronunciation might be off. No, it's good. It's been so long since anyone called my name so gently, ever since my mother died. Marilla, I refuse your request. You won't grant me a vision. I suppose I was never a warrior to begin with. No, that's not it. I refuse to let you die here by my hand, Marilla. You have not become the vampire's creation. Your looks have changed, but I don't sense you becoming any more evil or bloodthirsty. And even if you are showing a bit more of your ancient bloodline, you are still you. You do not deserve punishment, nor should I be the one to give you your honor. But you are the king of Sarkaz. Please, call me Amiya. Miss Marilla, I've had my share of worries because your team, isn't comprised of Rhodes Island operators. I was thinking earlier about how we could get along with you three, but in truth, it wasn't a problem at all. If you wish to fight alongside us for our common goal, then I welcome you with open arms. The young goddess keeps her arms outstretched, her blue eyes blinking. The Sarkaz woman grasps her slender fingers. Despite not feeling much sorrow, 2 rows of scarlet tears still flow down her cheeks. Were you watching Amiya? She's changed a lot these past few years. She's become even more mature. The core of the vampire's ritual has changed. It is no longer just a tool to amplify the strength of the Sarkaz, nor a simple collector of energy. It is deepening the Sarkaz bloodline's bond with Originium, with Amnanum. The blood of Tikaz is playing a role in this somehow. The strength of the Sarkaz bloodlines acts as a direct catalyst to the Originium spread. In turn, the information within Originium empowers the bloodlines, changing their powers and other traits. The effect of these arts seem familiar. Confessari are skilled at bringing out the power in bloodlines. We must be ready. The threat that Amnanum represents may very well be far greater than anything we expected. Oh, here we go. Hammer and Anvil vanquished. Ooh.
What blocks the way, I will burn through.
For them, the bell tolls.
Don't make this harder than it needs to be.
I think I moved that up there.
Waiting for its soul, the fairy of the other side.
Please, trust in me.
He's handling that thing pretty well, and I like that. I should have pulled that up further, but that's alright.
Ready to move.
War. A word
I am Dublin.
Cause see, now that hurts them, which is awesome.
Wow, looks awfully dangerous.
We'll put her that way, just in case.
Branch and bone bear weeds. Mounds and ruins bloom fields.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Aya here. then I can do 3 more yet, so...
Waiting for your period. The reversal of finality.
How
Put
soon do you
her
want them
there.
gone?
And we'll put Pookie here. But they are having a field day here. This is awesome.
Professor?
Hopefully this works well.
So you wrapped your brain. Poor little guy. It's your unlucky day. Solid positioning. Temperature stable. Where do you wish to go? I'm prepared. I'm double.
I'll let her. Nice. Oh yeah, there we go.
If you're really in Cape, clear skies for teaming, rain clouds for Gui.
Still mulling thinks emotion is meaningless here.
Okay, that cleared them out. Give her a chance to recharge. Hold on to his skill for now. 'Cause they're working really well. So it'll be 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Oh, she's already charged up. I love it.
I hear the period. The reversal of finality.
Poor little guy. It's your unlucky
Oh yeah. Let's go. She's almost charged up, so we'll hold on to that for now. Oh my. Look at those freaking skills. These are insane.
Can you do it?
Oh my, we can do it. It's taking a little bit of time, but one little step at a time, and it's doing awesome work here. This little strategy has worked very, very well, and I love it.
If you're really in, I'll plant you into the soil to grow anew.
Still mulling things over,
That's not
Dr.
gonna work.
Perfectionist.
That's alright. They'll finish him relatively quickly. Logos, you can have a little fun.
The fairy of the other side.
I should have put that over or up one more. Like up here would have been great. But it still worked out perfectly fine. I love it. "23 hours into the operation. Ooh. The route ahead has been cleared. I'll continue scouting the Sarkaz army's movements. Haven't found any trace of them yet. Thank you, Misery. Continue to set up those sentry posts. Morgan, found any surviving Victorian soldiers where you're at? I'm afraid not. Nothing but originium crystals here. We haven't run into any Victorian troops, corpses, or wrecks since we entered the westbound forest. Damn it! We can't tell there's a bloody huge battle, so where have all the people gone? The terrain here keeps changing. Maybe the ground ate them all up. We cannot underestimate the tenacity of the people. It is only because there are those who refuse to give up that the exemplars even exist. That's why we're here in the first place. Sure, keep the medics ready to receive an army remnants and civilians. Receive any army remnants and civilians. We've got extra supplies, so no need to worry on that front. The bad news is that with so many infected among our troops now, it's almost impossible to distinguish between infected and uninfected soldiers. I'd like your professional opinion on that matter. Would registering the infected help our men or not? Funny you should ask, registering the infected. That might have been the first thing they taught me at the military academy. But where we stand now, I'd say there's no real sense to it. I see. Then let's stop registering them. Just try your best to provide everyone, infected or not, with Rhodes Island's recommended protective measures. The rest is not up to us anymore, at least not for now. Let's all focus on surviving this war first, then we can worry about the wars to come. Oh, my drone's back. Rock. Rock 18.
How awful. The entire propulsion system has been clotted up by the crystal dust.
I like she's got all the tools and stuff. That's cool.
Based on monitored data, environmental originium concentration is still fluctuating wildly. Send me that data you just got, Rock. We've got a new iteration of our originium activation trend model, and I want to see if our calculations fit real-world data. Looks like there's not enough data to do that. The trend of this curve. Let's wait for Victor's team to finish off that diffractometer analysis report. Then we should be able to calculate the safe areas in real time. This place freaks me out. It's like, one minute it's deadly quiet, the next there's some terrifying originium mountain pushing its way out of the dirt. Safe areas keep changing. Although we've managed to re-establish short-range comms after working our asses off, if you go even one step out of range, all that interference will just get in the way again. Good thing I planned ahead and asked Radian for her arts unit before we left for Londinium. After a little copy and paste, I made a knockoff version. It's not as good as the real deal, but it should help. Once we got these portable communication towers up, we'll be able to transmit the locations of the safe areas to anyone on the battlefield who needs them. This information will save many lives. Well, yeah, that's what Rhodes Island does. Horn, status update. We've successfully arrived at Gibsonum. It's the last supply point before we reach the front at Silver Rock Bluffs. The reconnaissance team's already made their initial scouting report. Looks like there are traces of the ducal armies there. Here. Must have passed through on the way to the front a few days ago. I think we can confirm at this point that the route the Trilby Asher provided is safe. Is there anyone in town? The streets are empty, but I can sense the flicker of shadows and the smell of food. We decided against contact to avoid unneeded misunderstandings. Understood. We'll rendezvous with you as soon as we can. It's getting dark. Seems like everything's going smoothly. Best we let our fighters get some rest and some hot soup in them. Remember to save some for my team. They'll be taking a while longer to get back after their work is done. Rock and I still have to head over to Feist. I'm not sure if we'll be able to double our communication range by nightfall, but we'll do our best to finish ASAP. No need to worry. We'll save the best for your people. It's all just the same canned provisions though, right? Would you like some engine oil for dressing then?
Oh, that's wrong.
Oi! All units, continue onward until you reach Gibsonum. I hope things can be as peaceful tonight as things are now.
To say the least, let's hope.
All the houses seem to be empty. Have the residents gone into hiding? Gibsonum's not far from the Duke's defense line, so I doubt the Sark has ever fully captured it. Not to mention that the ducal armies just passed through a few days ago. Horn's caution is warranted, though. There might be some scattered ducal troops who want to reconvene with the main army and decided to camp out here first. Although Trilby Asher's helping us out with his advice, Victoria's never exactly been a model for unity. Not to mention the complicated nature of the exemplars. I dare say that there are a few old-fashioned military nobles who would rather not tolerate our very existence. I see. Then let's show them the full scale of our forces. I'll deter those with ulterior motives and alert anyone who needs our help of our arrival. The rumbling of traveling tanks reverberates through the quiet night. The low roar of the engines forceful yet steady. The soldiers cautiously advance, observing their surroundings, but still, all they see are pitch-black windows and doorways. Doesn't look like they want to make first contact. That's fine, as long as it means we can get along. Wait, I hear something! From the building to the front and left! That's the sound of artillery shell casings falling on the ground! An ambush. On your guard, everyone! I'll lead a team to scout ahead. First squad, second squad, follow my lead!
Oh, wow. There are no signs of life in the abandoned factory. Contrary to expectation, there is no sound of an explosion following the fallen casings.
Are you sure that was fallen casings, Horn? Absolutely sure. That's a special model only allocated to elite Victorian troops. No traces of anyone living here. Don't move, Siege. Siege carefully puts her foot down back to where it was. Horn points at a thin tripwire, barely visible against the ground. Nicely concealed. What with the surrounding piping obstructing the view, real tricky to spot. A booby trap. No, it's not linked to any explosives, just a simple alarm system. Based on how they've installed it, I'd say they're military. Should we try to initiate contact? Yes, everyone get behind us and prepare to engage. Hello, we don't mean any harm. Our unit's called the... A secret passage. Get ready to enter. Stay behind my shield. Halt! We're not... Help! Bagpipe! I knocked over some spent ammunition while on watch. How could they have heard from so far away? They avoided your alarm, too. These troops, I don't think they're any ordinary. She could block your pile driver spear? Captain? And Siege, too. It really is you, Fiona. The lady with long red hair suddenly throws herself into the arms of her captain. So you were alive all along. Wonderful. How wonderful. Horn gently releases Bagpipe from her embrace, then claps a hand on her shoulder. Good to see you in one piece and in rather good shape, too. I'll make my report now, Captain. I've done it. I've managed to extract intelligence on the Spectre Force. And I can what they're planning now. I survived, I got my memories, I got the truth, and I stayed alive. Your orders, I never forgot a word of them. Good to hear. I knew you could do it, I always knew. Welcome back, Bagpipe. Wait, you're not. Everyone, we mean you no harm. It's alright to come out. Citizens. One by one, silhouettes emerge from the shadows. The elderly, children, the sick and wounded, civilians. Hundreds of pairs of eyes stare at Siege and her men in fear and curiosity, taking their measure. You're not with the ducal armies. Most of you aren't dressed like Victorian soldiers. In fact, you mostly look like workers to me. That's right. We're not under any dukes. We're called the Exemplars. Shear's counting up the civilians who were hiding in the factory and giving them a checkup. All he can say at the moment is that it's looking better than we expected. Aside from those infected soldiers under the Duke of Fife who came along with you, and a small team of military engineers under the Duke of Normandy, everyone else is just local civilians who couldn't escape. The Ducal Alliance armies came through here a few days ago, but they rather give up a chance of being rescued than seek help from the Grand Dukes. It's understandable why the soldiers would avoid them. They're either worried about the status of their infection or worried about a court-martial. But as for the civilians, perhaps this was the year the people living around Londinium got to reassess their country and those decorated higher-ups. Bagpipe, how did you manage to get their trust? Are you listening, Bagpipe? Huh? Oh, aye, Captain. You need to pay attention during tactical meetings. The map's on the wall, not my face. Sorry, Captain. Horn lets out a small sigh. I really shouldn't be asking. You are Fiona, after all. I'm just a wee bit glad. The Exemplars, the Tempest Platoon's predecessors. I guess the rumors were true. I'm actually amazed you still remember what you learned in military history class. Well, of course. When I was still a training camp, Triangle made sure I committed this fact to memory. Out by the training field, the sycamores were full of leaves, blocking the sun just right. Then there were the rocks at the top of the cliff, hard as, well, rocks, and will sting you if you tried to climb them. I remember when Cello and Oboe had a wager on who could complete the rock climbing training course the fastest. The loser had to do 100 one-handed push-ups. Oboe was a right fool. Who would have taken that bet with Cello? Maybe you should have reminded him back then. You were even sitting on his back the whole time he was doing those push-ups. I was just helping him with his training. And I'd say it turned out all right in the end, He was just a hair behind Cello the next time. The Exemplars, When the Tempest platoon was first established, nothing was left of this legendary unit from the War of the Four Nations, not even its unassigned unit ID. But now, it has returned once more to the battlefield. We're all members of the Exemplars now, Bagpipe. As long as our team is still here, we will never stop fighting the good fight. Isn't there a strategy meeting inside? Why are you standing out here in the cold? Just wanted to clear my mind for a few minutes. Did you think I was someone else? Baird, or... No, not really. I believe you. If someone suddenly popped out of the fog tonight, I wouldn't have had any expectations either. Not everyone is as lucky as Horn, reuniting with the person they most want to see. Luck, eh? That's a luxury around here. That's enough blues for tonight. We should head inside. Wait. Victorian soldiers. Are they remnants who stayed behind? No, they can't be. I never noticed them until they got this close. They're the elite of elites. Caster's men? Ah, it's positively frigid out here. My hands are frozen stiff. Days are truly getting colder as they go by. Why, I've only taken a little jaunt and my full plaid's already half soaked through. Duke of Gododin. My young friends, won't you invite me inside to warm my hands for a spell? Since you've come all this way in person, I suppose we should show you some courtesy. Delphine? Yes, Fina? Let's show the Duke the way.
To drive them away with fire is easily done. But if we're to ensure they'll never come back
Let's
to
do one
hurt
more
us,
for this
then
episode
a fire
here.
is not enough.
Let's see.
Excuse me. Who are you, sir? Phew, much better. Once you reach a certain age, you come to prefer bright and warm places. And is that beans I smell? Aye, I was cooking some canned beans for dinner. Do you want some, sir? Don't mind if I do. Would be better if we had some seasoning from home, perhaps some marinated meat. Aye, I was thinking the same. We Gododins. What is it? I can know who you are. And you're a wee bit different from what's in the news. Ah, well, you can ask your captain. I held her when she was wee. Little Rita touched my horn and asked why her dad didn't have one. I apologize for my insolence at that time, Your Grace. Not many have the nerve to touch my horns, Lieutenant Scamandros. You showed courage from a very young age. Or should I say, all of you are brave warriors of Victoria. Your defense of Chetley was outstanding, as was your performance at Brentwood, the exemplars you call yourself. I've long wanted to meet you, though it seems your leader does not welcome my presence. Pardon my frankness, Your Grace, but it's hard to treat your sudden appearance as a pure gesture of good faith. Of course, Lady Windermere, I understand. Especially in times like this, I sent men to the ironclad Galave. They were traveling quickly, but fortunately I made it in time to present funeral flowers for Amphilis. I appreciate the gesture. I assume the Duke of Gododin hasn't come all this way here just to give us a medal. What if I say I have? Most of us are neither nobles or intelligentsia. It would be best if you didn't beat around the bush. Your Royal Highness Alexandrina is as direct as they say. Or would you prefer that I called you Siege like your friends do? I fully understand why the Exemplars avoided the ducal armies along the way. You didn't want them to get involved in the machinations of the dukes. You want to fight only for Victoria and her people, like the legendary unit that you're named after. And so, I'm not here as the Duke of Gododin. I'm here as Sean Gododin, Member of Parliament, to extend an invitation to the Parliament-authorized Tempest Platoon and the rest of the Exemplars. Leave that outdated identification code behind. I'm asking that you interfere in this war in the name of Parliament. Interesting. Miner's camp is burned to the ground. No sign of Sarkath's soldiers. Misery feels a slight chill. The campsite's charred debris has cooled. He moves some collapsed wooden beams aside and finds a few unrecognizable bodies. Miners. Remains of the infected. It's all the same everywhere.
What's that sound? Ooh, 2 of them. Nice hiding spot, Suderum. Nasher spotted to the northwest of Gibsonham. Out of comms range already. Death has you. Several rune swords pierce out of the ground beneath Misery's feet, but he is no longer there. Too quick for them. Misery rips through the fabric of space with his dagger and retreats out of range. The collapsed ruins turn into a cage, trapping the Nasher's withered bodies. Shush now. I have you too. He's pretty interesting. I've seen, like, images of him, but I don't know anything about him. Duke Gododin. I understand the Victorian Parliament has not held a session for a long time. Everyone who escaped Londinium knows that the Sarkaz have been the ones giving the orders from the Palace of Westhaleg during this time. Of course, I don't deny the present circumstances. Why don't we cast our gaze further, though, to the future beyond the war? The future? Isn't it a little too early to be bargaining over that? If bargaining and coercion were synonyms, you misunderstand me. Gododin is not caster. I would much prefer to sit by the fireside than gather at a negotiation table. I'm more about drinking and playing cards with friends. It gets cold rather quickly once summer is gone. Mind if I have my men add some wood to the fire? We might as well have them come in. Thank you. That's much better. Where were we? Oh, yes, the future. We know that the war will end and Victoria will triumph. The war will inevitably bring, or should I say, has already brought about irreversible changes, ending a 20-year stalemate. If anyone in the room is interested in the empty throne, it certainly isn't me. Excellent, excellent. See, we already have a consensus. As a matter of fact, I held a little meeting not too long ago and saw the Iron Duke in person. Seeing him always reminds me of when I first saw Gastrel. Like so many other children who grew up hearing tales of the Empire's death knell. Like so many other children who grew up hearing tales of the Empire's death knell, I searched for the shadow of the ruins that belonged to Lingonus, only to find not Gaul, but the glory of the strongest nation of our time so splendid I could not bear to turn away. You want us to believe you care more about Victoria than Gododin? Make no mistake, I would never call myself a patriot. The Duke must always put his dukedom before all else. This is not just a matter of interest, but also a duty, a responsibility. But I wonder, what is the difference between Gododin and Wellington? Wellington would still be Wellington with or without Victoria. But what would become of Gododin in the light of if the light of Victoria went out? Perhaps it would survive, but things would certainly not get better. You don't want the Grand Dukes to really divide Victoria. I'm not the only one. You know that. As strong as Victoria is, she is not without her rivals, Ursus, Latanian, Columbia, Sargon. And all the ambitious nations of Terra have their eyes on us. We need a single unified voice to bring stability. This is why Parliament exists. All the ducal realms will select an appropriate representative, including Windermere. That is what the Exemplars mean to Victoria. No soldier who fights for the cause of Victoria will need to fear betrayal again. The Speaker of Parliament has always been the king for the entirety of the role's existence, but that does not mean that he or she must sit on the throne. And this is what you can mean to all of us, Your Royal Highness Alexandrina, if you are willing. No one speaks as the Duke's words sink in. Only the crackling of the fire Gododin lit can be heard. I have only one question for your grace. If all of this could have waited until after the war, then if I refuse now, can my friends and I leave with the size of kings? Huh. Siege. Crossbowmen outside. We're surrounded. Maybe we already were the moment he showed up. Well. First we learned what a commitment is to Castor. Now we learned what a friendship is to Gododin. Friends treat each other as equals, do they not? My offer remains fair. At the minimum, I gave this young friend of Gododin the opportunity to point her piledriver spear at me. Okay, then. I like this song. Lost the signal from Drone 6 again. Blasted place. Alright, Bellin, Eves, Victor. We have to do this manually. Status reports, everyone. All good over here. The beacon's in there and the sensors running. We're still getting strong interference from the wind and sand. I'm trying to filter out the noise. Waiting on you now, Victor. 5 minutes. The ground's softer than expected. Careful! Quicksand!
Soil's very different from the samples we collected. I sent the data back. You got that, Captain? I knew it was a good idea to get you on board, Eves. Worth a few days of angry stares from Earth spirits. Oh my god. I think you could do better with a working environment, Closure. Try not to get too much sand in your mouth. Stop talking like Ami, Abalin. My blood is self-cleansing. Hey, don't just laugh at me. Keep working. The sooner we get the signal tower set up, the sooner we can broadcast the safe zone locations, and the sooner you can go to town. I'm trying. Rhodes Island equipment isn't like anything else I've seen. I'm already doing an exemplary job, get it? Seriously though, you and Rock shouldn't be here with me in the first place. You have my drones. Of course I'm staying here with them. Well, that is a solid reason. I know you're concerned about my safety, but I'm actually really strong. What's that? Those vampire worms would disagree? Well, not all vampires are built the same, you know. It's you two I'm worried about. Put your helmets on. Oropathy infection is no joke. All right. But you lot are the ones who need to be careful, running around the battlefield like this. You lot? Rhodes Island. You lot are all over the battlefield, not caring for your own safety at all. Balin isn't infected from Victoria. Eves is infected, but not Victorian. Victor isn't infected or Victorian. How amazing. Why? Everyone knows Rhodes Island operators come from everywhere. I can't help but think of my granny, Clovicia. Plus Tommy in the gang. I once hoped that the Self-Salvation Corps could be as united as the Rhodes Island operators I'd seen. Well, people aren't really born good or bad. As circumstances change, so do many people. Maybe, one day. One day, the Self-Salvation Corps will become a tightly knit, united group. Just like the Exemplars, now all fighting for the same thing. We're ready to brave the worst, ready to deal with defeat, even betrayal. But it's not necessarily race, upbringing, or circumstance that will unite us, just like Rhodes Island. All right, enough with the compliments. I know you want to keep your equipment. Should I get you a contract now? I'm not jealous of Rhodes Island, Miss Closure. You lot give me the same kind of feeling as this strange communication equipment you're holding. A possibility. Something that proves I'm not just a naive dreamer. Wait. Maybe your monologue is starting to bother Closure, Feist? What's that sound? Let me check feed from Rock 18. In the monitor's pixelated image, a sandstorm approaches quickly. Catastrophe! But I don't see the data. Beneath the wild sands are tattered banners and the chanting of war. Nashers, what are they doing here? Go! You two, leave now! Everyone from the Self-Salvation Corps, head for Gibsonham, now! What's that sound? Sarkaz! They're already here! Battle stations! Open fire! Explosions! Sir, the Sarkaz are attacking the town. We have to leave now! They found us quicker than expected. Looks like the Sarkaz remember the success they had with Amphilis. What are the attackers? Nasher Elite, sir. Your Royal Highness, you and your people must leave with us now. This town is not worth defending, but you and your friends are of paramount importance to the future of Victoria. Our battleships can take us back to the Silver Rock Bluffs in front. Silver Rock Bluffs front in 3 hours. That is where you belong. Me or the sword. Sir, we don't have time. You don't have time and you don't plan to fight, even though you know how many civilians there are. But of course you wouldn't. They are not important to you or your parliament. These poor families wouldn't produce a single member of parliament in 100 years. There's no place for them in your game of cards. I simply have my sights set on reality, Your Highness. Reality? Reality is the future of Victoria you dream of, is to be found in a grand halls filled with noble coats of arms. My Victoria is here with these people. Sir! Very well, Your Royal Highness. You're like your father at times, naive, reckless. Is that so? Not that I care. I don't remember anything about him. Huh. Very well. Good luck. Horn, order all combat-ready personnel. on the plate to their stations now. On it! Delphine, have Lieutenant Shear get with the logistics and medical staff ready. Already done. Follow the plan. Protect the civilians. Prepare for battle. Alrighty, 14-4. Okay. Oh, okay. I remember this.
You people.
Map isn't
I
too
don't
crazy.
think I'll even remember your faces after this one. Anyway, let's just get started.
For them, the bell tolls.
Anything outside the plan, I'll judge for myself.
I hear the period, the reversal of finality. I hear the elegy.
Really? Drag her up here. Hope that just made me itchy. Let's put her here.
Spring breeze, timely rain.
So she can defend anybody that walks up through here. Put Exusiate there. Not that that's really going to make a huge difference, but that's going to help. Okay. Screw it. Yeah, let's put her there.
Looks awfully dangerous. You call me out for this?
I'm just lining up like all my ranged operators here. This is insane. They're pushing that forward. I don't like that. Well, we put her there. Just let her have fun. Keeps them from moving that way.
If you're really incapable, clear skies for teaming, rain clouds for Guyu.
And let's put Pookie there.
You want my opinion?
She's ready.
Please give your orders.
She's ready.
I am Babel.
Don't really need Exusiate there anymore, so let's put Amia in. Deploy her. Need to make sure I use her. I believe you have to deploy her in so many of these missions or something. I don't remember the exact clear requirements to get the extra version of Amia that's later in this chapter.
Revenant's battle.
Get her towards the end.
It's your
unclear skies for teaming.
Period. The reversal of finality.
That's the last one. Look at him just wailing away. Wow! I wished I'd have used him on my other account. I wished I'd have used him. Well, I don't have Wis'Adel over there, but I have Logos now. I wish I'd have used him during the chapter. Of course, I got him a little bit later, so it is what it is, though. I think something's wrong with the diffractometer sensor. Nothing's wrong with it. You see, Victor, I'm getting the same results. Ooh, Bunno. It's not always the equipment's fault that we're not getting valid data. The data itself may exceed the scope. Originating reaction metrics are above the default limit. They're coming, guys. We have 3 minutes. Victor is the youngest of us. Nothing else, we should try to get him out. Who do you think was the reason that I signed up for the Londinium operation? Never. Could you just do as you're told, could you? How are you doing over there, Closure? Still alive. I've got my drones, and they're loaded with... I think I hear the sounds of drones crashing. They used to be your babies. You knew it when you ordered the Self-Salvation Corps to pull out, didn't you? That was the last chance to escape. The Originium activity data is incomplete. I need data from all of you. Amia's not here, so you're my captain, Closure. We've all talked to Amia before we came to Londinium.
Stop a war and save both the Victorians and the Sarkaz? With just a few of us, that's next to impossible. But I chose to trust all of you, trust in the dream of Rhodes Island. There isn't a single Rhodes Island operator who doesn't want to see the day when there's a cure for oropathy, when everybody's living a better life. Doesn't that sound ridiculous to most folks? My only regret about dying here is that I won't get to see that day. Did you get my data, Eves? Yep, just sent the newest batch of data over, Captain. Oh, and I'm not that selfless, so don't forget to put my name in when you publish your paper.
Will do.
Communication failure detected. Signal lost imminent. Importing energy fluctuation data. Initializing automatic analysis module. Catastrophe scale confirmed. Developing prediction model on originium-induced environmental changes for the next 24 hours. Bzz, Captain, shield damaged. They're about to... Hang in there, Eves! Moving towards your position. Bzz. Make it happen, Closure.
I will.
The engineer's eyes are glued to the screen in front of her. Faster, faster. If they fail to compile the originium activity data, then all the squad's efforts would be for naught. The din of war approaches. Only a few drones remain. She can feel the enemy's cold, freezing breath. Model successfully compiled, outputting safe zones and locations.
Yes! All that's left is the signal tower.
Vampire, traitor. This war will go on and you will feed it.
Yikes! My drone!
Sudarum's blade slices the hovering drone, sending it crashing to the ground. That was her last combat drone.
Get out of the way!
Your arts are weak and pathetic. How could such a frail vampire exist?
Ouch!
Searing pain erupts and Closure feels an entire side of her body go numb. The breath of decay invades her. Closure can barely hold onto the signal tower. With great effort, she plants the complex equipment into the ground to lean on. Insufficient signal strength, strong interference detected, unable to broadcast safe zone location. Please follow the equipment manual.
I know, shut up! What kind of vampire are you, Closure? Close those wounds, hang in there just a little longer. Just get this thing up right.
Oh no. Excuse me. Sleeping in the corridors again? You'll catch a cold. Rhodes Island's basic functions are online. I think she's ready for a grand voyage. Thank you, Chief Engineer. You've delivered your promise.
If you want to leave this ship and go back to Kazdel,
right, you told me before you're not interested in that place. But at least promise me you won't call yourself a talentless vampire anymore. You're the most talented person I've ever known, Closure. You're just different from other vampires. So here's my offer. As long as you still want to see the vast and unexplored parts of this land, we'll always be each other's companion.
I can't. I won't. Won't let everyone down. And myself.
Closure can feel the Sudarum's cold grip close in around her neck. War's finally claimed her.
Closure! Who? A survivor. Signal. There's a signal. A Rhodes Island signal. Grab my hand, Closure.
Doberman? No, it's not Doberman.
Fang!
To the rescue.
It's me. Can you stand? Fang.
You. Wait, what? A dagger pierces the Sudarum's chest, causing a massive burst of energy. Misery! Oh, what timing! Sorry I'm late.
Misery gave us the location. More are coming. Almost got it. Cover me. Keep them away.
Let's go. Wow. Closure the flag bearer, it looks like. That's her signal tower, but it's got a big flag on it. That's cool.
What is our mission? When Closure first joined Rhodes Island, then known as Babel, she asked many operators this question. She got a different answer every time. Some dreams are big, others less so. Some gave details, others mumbled, scratched their heads, and gave an abashed smile. But there comes a time when they all have the same expression, and a time when they all make the same choice. Almost there. Almost there. This is the last one.
Core module online. Communications restored. Closure took over Myrtle's job there temporarily, except hers is releasing signal.
We're coming. Closure, hang in there. We sent your location to the exemplars. Help is on the way. Finally! Closure? Closure, are you okay?
Awesome.
Keep your distance. Cover the artilleries and crossbowmen. The appearance of the Nashers is closely linked to catastrophes. Do not fear the witchcraft. However bizarre it is, it's still arts. Remember how we marched through a catastrophe. We survived a catastrophe. We'll survive the Sarkaz. Bagpipe. Aye, I'm here. The Duke of Gododin spoke the truth. Tempest Platoon is under the direct authority of Parliament. We have an obligation to answer Parliament's call. It's a more legitimate cause for action than the Duke's invitation. Not to mention that by accepting his invitation, you, Robin, and, everyone who came with us because they had no choice, will still have proper identities. Identity? Did you forget, Captain? I'm retired anyways. Besides, in that standoff with the Duke earlier, you didn't hesitate to put your shield in front of Siege. True. Word is Siege is carrying the size of kings. Have you seen it before, Captain? I have. Siege is right. It's just a piece of metal that happens to mean something to some people. Troops approaching on our flank. No ID code, but I recognize them. They're the Duke of Gododin's men. They've engaged the Sarkaz and covered one of our squads just now. Good. If that's Gododin's way of showing friendship, then we'll show him the same in return. Attention, exemplars! Stand with the soldiers of Gododin! Not one step backwards until the last foe is vanquished!
Ooh, where are we now?
The ship has reached cruising speed, sir. We're out of danger for now.
Good. The Sarkaz's witchcraft is most peculiar indeed. Better to fake a moment of vulnerability than to have them constantly harassing our rear.
The leader of the Nashers has not been sighted, nor any other powerful known Sarkaz.
I suppose they don't see Gododin as nearly the threat that Windermere or Wellington are. I could call that a relief.
The size of kings has not left Gibsonham, sir. Should we move on to the next phase?
What do you think of them?
More of a challenge than expected.
Alexandrina's forces are growing, and they are more organized and effective than we thought. Oh, I don't mean as an adversary. The exemplars, like you said, they look the part. And they worked well enough with our troops, with the troops that we left behind. Rita is with them. And looks more like the legendary White Wolf than her father did. And Windermere isn't quite as weak as the intel had her. Maybe it's not such a joke after all that these kids could become exemplars.
Do you intend to abandon the plan for us to escort the Realmblade then?
Abandon? Such a strong word.
It is the future that Gododin values. Alexandrina, the size of kings, the exemplars, even Rhodes Island. Perhaps we'll cross paths again on our way to the future. Our tanks are fighting the last pocket of Sarkaz on the east side of town. We successfully defended Gibsonham. It will serve as a supply point on the way to Silver Rock Bluffs. However, the terrain has changed. The environment around Londinium is constantly changing because of Omninom's influence. Fissures, cliffs, and rapids that should not have been there are emerging everywhere. Silver Rock Bluffs is almost constantly under severe catastrophe. It's hard to say where our foot will land when we put it forward. I wouldn't have believed this was our Londinium if I had anything less than absolute faith in Rhodes Island's data. The sun on the meadow is summery warm, filling our home with euphoria. After this war, we might have to change our national anthem's lyrics. Is this the time to be having a laugh? You wanted to say, we'll think about it after we take it back, didn't you? Even if we really went back, would our home ever return to the way it was? That's why we're not just going to win the war. We're not going to let the Sarkaz destroy Londinium in the war. We'll overcome the storm ahead, and we won't abandon the home that the storm has ravaged. Weiss told me his squad picked up more distress signals nearby. There may be more lives saved yet. The areas where fighting occurred with the Nashers will need to be cleaned up. Rhodes Island's operators will provide the usual assistance. I want the exemplars to work with them on these post-combat affairs. Establish supply lines, rescue and transfer the injured, then rally those who want to join us. The troops who returned from the front line have assembled. Counting in Gododin soldiers who had their IDs wiped, the exemplars have far exceeded the scale of a regiment. They want to join us. I met with their officers and they said the Duke of Gododin left before they could board the transports. Preliminary screening indicates that all of them are infected. Sounds familiar, eh? The Duke of Gododin left his infected soldiers behind just like the other dukes. Or maybe he intentionally picked a bunch of soldiers who had unfortunately gotten infected and sent them over to us. I suspect he has ulterior motives. The performance of those infected troops indicates that they're different from those we've seen before. I wouldn't call them stragglers. If Gododin's intention is to keep an eye on us, then we should probably try to lose these people or at least separate them tactically. No. You know the Dukes better than I, Delphine. There's a very good chance that you're right. But right now, there's nothing we need more than unity. If even the Exemplars chose what parts of Victoria they united, what would happen to the future that we dream of? Gododin very likely knew that we wouldn't reject those men. That's why he left us here so easily. Then we need to be ready. This is not the first challenge we've had to overcome, nor will it be the last. Sarkaz, Amnanam, Castor, the Dukes. It's not just one storm that the Exemplars will have to weather. I'll let Lieutenant Shearer know. To be honest, everyone's happy to get some new blood. Plus, they're all infected. If it's really true that Gododin has not abandoned them, that, in itself, is worth celebrating. Perhaps the unity that once seemed impossible is actually within reach. It's a start. It's a miracle to run into people like you. We're not the miracle, ma'am. You are, all of you, for being strong until the very end. Thank you so much, regardless. I can still move. Let me help you with the others. This way you can get some rest. You're not much older than my own child, now that I get a better look at you. We have about 10 minutes of rest before we head to the next location. Closure? A little more time. There's not much room for improvement on that arts unit you're holding. Even Radian and Mechanist could hardly do better. Conditions will only get worse from here. The better I do, the safer you guys will be. Thanks. Rescue work around Gibsonham is complete. Next, we'll be going to where your squad's signal was lost. I see. We'll find them, alive or otherwise. Even if they're buried in the sand or originium, there will be traces. We'll find them and bring them home. I know how I feel, but Fang, I want to hear your thoughts too. Is it regrettable for a Rhodes Island operator to die in a war between the Sarkaz and the Victorians when they have nothing to do with either side of the war? Any sacrifice is regrettable. After Ace died, the Eagle cried for many nights with his shield in her arms. Why him? Why there? Why then? I get that feeling too, every single time. But what I really want to know is, how did the people who sacrificed feel? I'm sure they have their own regrets. We're none of us saints. That's why we fear death. That's why you feel pain over your decision. But I have no regrets about participating in this operation. If not for Lava, Hibiscus, or our other Sarkaz friends, then at least for the people here, even though I don't know any of them. It was a catastrophe that brought me from Columbia to Rhodes Island. That catastrophe taught me one thing, that suffering does not discriminate. I came here today because I know that you will come when my home needs help. When the people I care about need help. You're right. We'll be there. We, Rhodes Island. You know something? I've been addicted to the web since a very young age, because that's the only place I knew without segregation. The other vampire children and I, vampires and other Sarkaz, Sarkaz and everyone else, catastrophe, nations, class, disease. It was Teresa who took me from the confines of my home and showed me another possibility. A ship that sails the waves of disaster, rescues those who are suffering, and fosters companionships beyond personal interest. Sounds surreal, huh? But the road that Rhodes Island has traveled thus far is very real. I'll continue to analyze anomalies caused by Amnanam. I also want to hear your answer to my question. Calcit, and the doctors too. This data belongs to Eves, to Valen, to Victor, to Rhodes Island. One day it may belong to everyone.
Are we done yet?
Awesome.
What are you looking all smug for? These Stronzi have already wasted too much of our time.
All right. What a start. Let's go ahead and call it there. So, what an incredible kickoff here between Doctor doing some pulls and getting some awesome operators and stealing my wallet to do so, and to the first 4 parts to Chapter 14, as well as the tutorial and the first story bit. And so far, it's obvious we are in the midst of a very deep and very dark war. And there are some very crazy events happening, but between everything that's going on with the Sarkaz and with Theresis and Teresa and Rhodes Island, they've got that ship, that Lifebone, and they're trying to fly it, but something happened that caused them to have to crash land it, and it's not responding now. And the things that are going on with Siege's group and Victoria and the Nazur's attack and stuff like that. There's a lot to comprehend, a lot of different plot points and things stretching in different directions with different groups, and it's really cool. It's kind of hard for me to keep up with the voices for everybody. And like the operators that I know their English voices, I'm trying to kind of get close to those tones and things if I can, but keeping up with all of it is really different and really hard. But there is so much going on here, and it's so cool seeing it all. So I'm anxious to continue and to see where this story goes. There's a lot of conflict coming up, and there are 21 or 23, I believe, total stages, and then some story and stuff in between and whatnot. So we've still got a chunk to go, and we're going to do this in a couple more episodes yet, all together. And I hope you guys will continue along the way with me and enjoy it. This one's probably a little bit longer because of all the pulls and all the extra stuff, but we'll see. It depends. The others may be just as long, if not longer, depending on how many parts we fit into each episode that we do here. But over the next couple of days, I'm going to get this finished, get this out to you, and I hope you guys are as anxious as I am to finish the story. So, with that being said, that is it for this one. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to hang out with me here on the channel and to watch my videos. You guys are making this awesome and so much fun to do. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's going to help me to continue to grow and bring you more cool stuff like this. And for now, guys, let me know down in the comments who you think I should pick. Now that I've got over 300 polls, I'm going to be using one of my headhunting certificates. And I have 2 choices on my hands. Choice number 1 is Texas the Omertosa. Max her out, be able to drop and pull her at will into different locations and to freeze or wipe multiple groups of enemies. She came in a lot of handy during this chapter and later parts on my main account. Or do I choose Mulesies? Replace Vigil with Mulesies. Mulesies is a staple on my other team. And the thing is, I'm only going to be able to choose one. I doubt I'm going to be able to headhunt the other. And I'm going to wait till the very end to pick so that just in case, by some miraculous chance, I don't get one of them during my free headhunts and whatever I get, extra out of this, I'm going to wait just to make sure. Because if I happen to get one, I'm going to pick the other. But let me know in the comments your opinion on who I should pick. And with that being said, that is it, guys. I will see you in episode 2.